No, don't take this away. My only defining trait whenever I play WoW is talking about how bad it is. I'm not allowed to enjoy it. Okay, I'm enjoying a little bit. At the very least, a little bit. But it's look at it like this. I'm enjoying a little bit of a thing that I'm kind of semi-forced into playing, and it took me several months of playing to get here. I don't know if I'm gonna, like, you know, it's just kind of like going, wow, look, it's like mild. Oh, that's nice. It's like a shiny coin. Was it worth all like the stabbing and the glass and the, like, I don't know, the traps and the screaming and the pain and the horrifying adventure that took to get here that really doesn't need the word adventure, really needs the word gauntlet? Like, at what point do we say this was worth it? How do I say that? You know what? I'll say if it's worth it if there's a 6-hour sex scene with Amethyst Pink after this. I think that's a reasonable position to take. I would support it. I think anyone who's a reasonable person would probably see that and say, yeah. 6-hour sex scene. Yeah, I'd say that was probably worth going for all of that trash. But yes, we are back. Now, before we continue though, I wanted to talk about something that randomly came up that I saw, I think it was yesterday. Apparently the Blizzard stuff about, like, guys drinking breast milk in the company was fake. And that's just sad. I thought it was really funny. Like, I just you know that meme? I think it was probably made from the Blizzard thing, where there's like memes of like fucking, I think it's from like people like drinking milk and like, oh yeah, the breast milk, hell yeah. Like all those memes came from that one Blizzard thing, and it just turns out it's just some random woman or man or whoever was just making it up on the spot. I don't know all the details because I never really looked into the whole Blizzard accusation stuff detailedly. I just saw like the downstream memes from it, which was oh my god, there was a breast milk thief in Blizzard and shit like that. And now I have to know that there was, why steal it? Just probably, yeah. Well, that's the thing, it wasn't real. Unfortunately, there wasn't a man or woman in Blizzard who was watching a woman bring her breast milk to work for whatever reason and then walking in and stealing the damn stuff. And I was like, wow, that's fucked up, but that's also really funny. Like, could you imagine? Like they go into the HR office and they're just like, well, not HR would scream. They're just going into the office and they're talking to someone and they're just like, all right. So someone's been stealing your breast milk. Yes, someone's been stealing the breast milk I've been bringing to work. And they're like, that is a terrible thing. Can you tell us why you were bringing your breast milk to work? Although, I suppose the answer is probably that she was, like, you know, pumping it out probably during her break and putting it in the fridge to take home to her kids, which is less amusing than the idea of her just bringing breast milk to work for fun, like just to show it off. Like, wow, guys, look how creamy it is. Damn. And then all of her work colleagues go, damn, Samantha, that's some creamy breast milk. And then they all, like, you know, smile and everyone stood up and clapped at her. But turns out, just like standing up and clapping at someone in the middle of a random situation, the breast milk story was fake. How depressing. How depressing. I think we need to fix this. So I'm now officially going to say this. Whenever any of my fans get pregnant or have breast, I'm gonna steal. I could be the person who holds the meme together, like Spider-Man, with his in front of the train, holding 2 strings, go like all fucking web and being like, no, I can bring us back, guys. I'll be the one to take this one, just so we can all get hit. So, all right, just like conveniently, like, I don't know, at some sort of fan meetup type thing, or whatever the fuck end up happening, just make sure you go, oh, I've brought my breast milk, I'm just gonna put it in the mini fridge, just like, and just like, you know, make it a bit obvious, and then like later on you can accuse me on Twitter. Just get ready, and I'll be ready for it. I'll be sure to fully invest in it. It's gonna be great. While it's funny, a lot of good people got fired. Yes, that is actually the other flip side of that. The sadder part of it is literally just that it was like a hat. Like, it looks like from the little bits and pieces I saw about the whole Blizzard situation, it looks like it basically turned into a what's the word I'm looking for? Feeding frenzy, where a lot of people just wanted to take their pound of flesh because they either didn't like Blizzard or they wanted to fuck with Blizzard. And according to some notes, now this is not something I know, some people basically knew it was all bullshit, but they were pushing some of the lies to either sell books in some cases or to try and get themselves a new job by getting other people in the company fired, by like, haha, they got fired, so then I can go up. It's been not a very fucking good few years for gaming companies, I must say. Recently, there's been announcements of the Halo studio. The Halo studio has fired a whole bunch of people after they released the Halo 1 remake for like, what's this, the third time? And immediately got basically no fucking fans. Like, no one's playing it. And honestly, I saw bits and pieces of it. Now, I know there's the big one, that annoying fucking woman in the extra missions they added for no reason. I did see that. I was like, okay, she can't be that annoying. Like, you know, I just wanted to see it myself, and I checked it out. I looked it up. I'm like, nope, she's really fucking annoying. Holy shit. I was like, what? Who put this in here? I was like, damn, that was so fucking, like, I get it from the perspective of someone who, and it's why I kind of buy into some of the things that people do say about the Halo studios, because they have said in, I think, some interviews that they hired people who hated the original Halo. And I have always got that feeling from the 343 Halos, even though I have definitely stopped following them. And my last great purchase that I regret and is like legitimately a massive fucking blight on my existence is I purchased fucking Infinity, and I was like, wow, I can't, no, this is the biggest fucking regret I've ever had as like a purchaser. Like, it just hangs over my life like a black cloud. But no, Halo, this new remake, it looked awful from that. But then the other thing that really looked bad was where they put all their focus. I think a lot of modern game devs, like, they seem to just be able to do less, but require way fucking more money to do everything. And I'm like, is inflation really that bad to the point where games just can't be made properly? And then on top of that, they just take this fucking Unreal Engine and they're like, yeah, look guys, look, we spent so much money modeling so you can walk through the sand dunes, and look, you can see your feet in the sands, and we made it so perfect. I'm sitting there going, this is the shit why you make fucking, this is the kind of shit where like Marvel does, like where you just go so fucking over-bloated on shit no one cares about. I'm telling you right fucking now, a lot of the good games out there, like a good game should be like core 30% of the game. You could probably like cut away all the flabby bits, like all the silly little, oh wow, we have water reflections, ooh, or look, there's fish AI. Like, we could cut away that shit and the game would be great. And that's the great part. Like, there we go. Oh, what's that? That core 30% of your game can be played and that's amazing. That's like great, perfect. And then all that other extra shit that seems to become the main focus instead of that core, is like, if it's there, great, sure, whatever, that's fun, it's fine. But that core needs to be the core. And they seem to have like completely fucked that up. It's all flipped around. And they all just spend money on the dumbest shit. I even saw that the, what was it, the devs who made, what was it, Ubisoft, I think it was the Ubisoft devs, I'm not sure, but they were saying, it was the guys who made Starfield and stuff. Bethesda, I believe. They all had their people get fired, and then they started doing like a fucking rally, and they were all standing around saying, "This is wrong. We made all the favorite games." And someone in the fucking thread pointed out, okay, let me just go through what games they've made, and it was the shittiest fucking games you could imagine. All the people in the fucking thing were just like basically lying, because they were like just generalizing, saying, yes, we were involved in all the games you love. It's like, no you weren't. No you weren't. You were involved in all of the awful ones that seem to kind of get malayed into our fucking lives. So thank you, but no, fuck off. It's shit like that. I think I saw somewhere that someone talking about how they kind of have to pretend like that to a degree because they're trying to get public support because they're part of a union. And ever since that Hoyo union shit that happened, I talked about it a few months ago, where the SAG-AFTRA union for voice actors for the English side tried to bully Hoyo into becoming a SAG-AFTRA stuff, which involves a lot of bullshit. And I fucking hate unions. Well, I mean, I don't hate unions. I've actually been in a union before, and they helped me out with some stuff. But what I hate is there's a certain culture in unions. And it's a very, very, like, they don't consider certain things, and it's like almost very cult-like. I can definitely understand, like, I've reached a point in my life where I can see why unions can be definitely useful and definitely bonuses, but like sometimes they just go off the fucking deep end. Like, I don't think they were all corrupt, but man, when you see some of those fucking tactics that unions do, you just kind of got to turn around and say, what the fuck, man? By the way, keep in mind, most AA studios outsource part of their probes to the modern devs work even less. So modern devs work even less. Yeah, I feel like there's something going on there, man. Maybe it's like the passion. Maybe like we expanded so fast and we just like watered down the passion of those core devs, and we underestimated how like intense the passion is for those starting people who made those original games that we all love and cherish. And now we'll just ship a Theseus, so we have these hollow names of companies that are filled up with bloat from corporate bloat, that where they thought they were going to get bigger. A lot of them a lot of companies and games act as though they act like movie studios, where they just spend oceans of capital and cash on something that shouldn't cost that much, just constantly hoping for one thing to hit, and then the only way they're going to make their money back and all the money back from all the other dev work they've made that failed is if it becomes like the greatest fucking thing ever. And I'm like, that is the stupidest way to approach a fucking like projects. It's like really dumb. So my brain is kind of constantly wondering what the hell's going through their mind. I can only assume that there's like culture shifts and things like that. But yeah, it's definitely a mess for the game dev industry right now, or the gaming industry right now, for those things. The best gamers, the funny part is, like, I mean, funny, it's almost sad in a lot of ways. A lot of your favorite gaming studios have, you know, slumped into malaise of making bad games, or being obsessed over things that no one else cares about, or, you know, got one shot by politics, especially after 2016, you know. 2016 happened and just like one-shotted everyone with politics. So like their companies just like get upset about it, or all these other elements. Like that's a lot of things in Western and like, you know, game studios. But then when it comes to like motherfucking China, it's like, oh, okay, China, welcome to China. Let's see what their stuff is. And it's all like mostly peak. Now they do get one shot by their own politics, but it's like almost fucking industry like mass industry thing of the like, let's just pretend Japan doesn't exist for a few years because we're having a political spat. Now I don't like that either, just to be clear. I'm not a big fan of the fact that China's politics means that for some reason like Star Rail or Wuthering Waves or various other companies need to tone down elements of other countries that they might be referencing in their game, purely because they're like, yeah, we need to stand with the party. We need to stand with the party by not, like, yeah, it's going to be critical that we don't include the Japanese area in fucking Star Rail, because the recent fucking Japanese prime minister said Taiwan was a country. Like, it is stupid. And there are other elements. For example, Girls Frontline, while very open to do almost every political quagmire and mess and discuss every mess, they do stay away from stuff like, you know, China and Japan type stuff. For example, no Japanese rifles, I believe, that were used by the Imperial Army were used to make dolls. It was just how it was. And similarly, things do happen like that. But for the most part, Chinese games are really good and are refreshingly interesting. Now, they're always going to have things like, you know, I complain about it, or I make memes, or at least I joke about it. You know, every single China game has like, oh, here is the imperial group of not Chinese men who are powerful, and they use their good jade tech to destroy the evil and hold back everything as the superior nation among nations. Like they'll do that all the fucking time. And also the added element of it almost feels like the China allegory in whatever game you're playing, and especially in gachas, like literally can never fail, and its issues are always internal. Like it's always just got like internal issues that need to be solved or something like that, and at the end they never lose. They'll never lose. It's always just a matter of we won and now we aura farm. Now I guess that's most gacha game, but do note that even the ones that have like, you know, difficulty or story complexity and stuff will have the China allegory, China number one, which is why Girls Frontline is so good. Because Girls Frontline completely sidesteps the entirety of the problem of what happens in China, because I believe China's fucking radioactive waste in most of Girls Frontline. Or at the very least, they don't even go there, so you can't really get China number one or dealing with China. They all just focus on fucking over in, you know, Europe and the Soviet Union and stuff, which is why I think they avoid a lot of things. Could you imagine a game being made by a Western company now, set in fucking Ukraine, of all places? God damn, the political nature of things, the political nature of the beast means that Girls Frontline would be a very fucking different game, having to deal with all these European things and all the stuff that the Chinese do. For example, so half the things in the Girls Frontline timeline would probably get you in trouble at your company just for suggesting as a historic event that happens in the Girls Frontline universe. I won't go into it, but generally speaking, the point I'm trying to make is people from certain cultures and groups can make games and stories about other cultures and groups that bypass a lot of the taboo restrictions and create something interesting. And the current situation we have with Western game devs, in a generalized sense, is that they seem to be kind of struggling with overcoming those things in a lot of ways, and a lot of those things seem to be forcing their way into the games, and it kind of fucks up, and it seems to be going in this weird direction that ultimately leads to worse games. Let me have a look at chat here. In some cases, it's money laundering operation. Best example I can give is X-Voto 1348. I did see that. Wasn't that game with like, it was like a night game or something, and like no one played it? I didn't look too deep into it, but I just know that no one played it and people made fun of it. I didn't even know why they made fun of it. I just know that it was like a game that sucked, or at the very least, people didn't like. So that's my awareness of that. But yeah, I can totally see it being a money laundering operation. To be fair, you could argue that almost all of these bloated numbers might be money laundering in general. Like, you know, think about it. Like, you're in a company like, oh, you want to get your friend a job, or oh, you want to just, we spend a lot of money, we can just like get it through, and even if we fail and the game doesn't make any money, I've got paid already, or I've already got my money, and everyone always wants more money. Companies and themselves can be very similar to governments in that they always want to grow. It's not very often that they will snap back and like reduce in size and stuff. More often than not, they grow when they bloat, and that bloat leads to pointless roles within their company systems, and that pointlessness keeps rolling fucking on until eventually we sit in a situation where we just have a company that collapses in on itself. And they're all like, oh my god, how did we collapse in on ourselves? We had 600 people in HR. How did they not save us? It's like, the 600 people in HR weren't fucking doing a lot of work, were they? I think that's the reality of a lot of modern games studios that seem to be falling apart at the problem now. Yes, the female lesbian night, the game studio had 600,000 600,000? Is that 600,000? Or 600 just with, no wait. Italian government. Really? Alright. See, that's another one as well. The chasing of, I'd say, investment. A lot of people put this down to things like BlackRock in the past, for example. They'll talk about how BlackRock has its like social and ethical things, and they're all like, we're proud to only invest in this, i.e., follow our weird rules about certain things and, you know, political elements, and put those into your game and into your company design of how you have your people, and we'll give you boatloads of cash with extremely easy interest repayments, or even just like, you know, or other forms of like investment into your company. And it's a really appealing thing, because there was a period in time, and I don't know if it's still really that kind of way, there was a period in time where you could take BlackRock money, make the game they wanted, and still make money despite having basically no sales, because the investment basically paid for it. But the real long-term negative, like the poison pill of those investments, was you were fundamentally changing your company by taking those investments from political investment firms, where you had to change the form of your company. So it's like you needed to place people that didn't necessarily have the skills or the passion in charge because of either outlooks, ideology, or ethical or ethnic things. You had to place them into power, and that just didn't work in the long run. It was a poison pill. It was like giving yourself cancer, or being like, oh wow, I want to go bald, I'm gonna do chemotherapy. It's like, yeah, you got bald. I don't know if that's a really good idea though in the long run. And that's why those companies could still make a lot of games, and also why they kind of like hobbled on as vampires for a lot of the time. Because I recall like so many companies just making absolute fucking, stinkers, and you're just like, how the hell did you keep going? How the hell did you even get through making this game and then make another game? And that's the other part of it, the investment. And like you said, from the Italian government, I've heard about people from ones from the Canadian government and other various European governments. The Australian fucking government does this as well, where they'll pay for games to be made that fit their political ideologies, or they fit their ethical goals to try and mold the world. Now, luckily for us as normal people, for the most part, companies, and especially governments, are really bad at this. So in their mind, they're like, okay, I want to make a game, let's say, for example, there's a whole thing, and I've talked about this in the past. Everyone knows about the thing in England where they're having problems with the whole rape gangs. Now, that doesn't sound very nice to talk about, but I'm not here to get into that. But what I'm here to get into is the point of something that was I noticed when it was happening, which is that they were, while the UK government was saying, "Oh, legalize cousin marriage," you're all about like rape within the family, because kind of like trying to step back to not deal deeply with that. But at the same time, we're pushing pamphlets and pushing regulations to try and make people like go, oh, this is actually kind of bad, don't do this. They were trying to have their cake and too. They didn't want to upset people, but they wanted to change their culture. So this is kind of what they do. They were trying, and the government, Australia has done it as well, where they make like, okay, I'll make a game about this, to try and change people's fundamental underlying cultural beliefs. But because they're so fucking ham-fisted with it, it looks silly as fuck. The UK had that right-wing extremism. Yeah, that's another example, exactly, that right-wing extremism. And by the way, I don't think I was mentioning the wrong way. It was not the rape gang thing. It was the legalizing of cousin marriage. Sorry, my brain got a little messed up there. Those things kind of all meld in together when every other second thing you hear from UK is something like ridiculous like that. Like, you got a license for that. You got a license for that, their opinion. Luckily, I'm not in the UK, but I'm in Australia, which is even worse. So probably give me another week, and they'll probably arrest me for saying something. Dustborn, if you remember that game, they got over 100,000 euros from the European Union via some kind of program that helped promote European making video games. I don't know what Duskborn was. It's hard to say, because here's the thing. Whenever the government is going to spend money on it, you can bet two things. One, it'll be incompetently done. So it's going to be it's going to be incompetently applied. Everything about the program is going to be incompetent. But also, because it's politics, the people in charge of those things are going to be highly political in how they apply it. Now, you want to live in a world where, the European Union, who want to make games maybe to support local industry, or perhaps support their own local makers of games because that'll head to better for their economy, you would like to think that they'd be like, oh, okay, these guys made a popular game in the past, they want to make another popular game, and we want to support them, they just don't have the funds for it, let's do it. Or like that. But the truth is, they basically just meddle because everyone in the government has their own positions of politics of what they want to happen, and they keep thinking downstream. It's all downstream, where they think that they can change their culture and influence other people. And that's the real annoying part of when it comes to activism investment and political investment from a country. It all ends up like that, where they're using their money to try and change things around. But that's not really too much what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about other things. It's just an annoying element that has annoyed me, really. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things online that annoy me, but with I don't really give two fucks about a lot of other countries' politics, but it is annoying to see it affect games that I would otherwise really enjoy. And it's just sad seeing like storied studios be torn apart by you know these fake allegations for one reasons, or their own incompetent bloats as companies get bigger, thinking that they can constantly become Marvel level things, or you know internal problems like that, or attempting to be goddamn money launderers, or getting influenced by outside sources that would fundamentally change the structure of their companies into along ideological lines, which then of course ends poorly. And I say this while I say ideological lines, and you might be thinking, oh, it must be all right wing people being forced out. No, it can totally be the opposite way. I reckon if you had we do have some examples of that, but if you were right now, a lot of those European ones in particular, they were like definitely forcing themselves down their own personal paths, which were generally kind of lefty European stuff. But if they had gone the opposite direction, I reckon we would have also had some pretty fucking terrible games. In my experience, with rare exception, extremists who are like zealotous into their political positions rarely make something good. It's usually a like negative factor, like it blinds them. And I think that'll happen for almost everyone, be it a game, be it a book, be it any story. There are people out there who can be highly like zealotous about a particular topic and then turn around and make something amazing. For example, everyone very commonly talks about how in Yojo Senki, the artist for Yojo Senki, who works with the writer makes his thing, but the artist is a hardcore communist. Which, considering what is going on with Tanya murdering communists every other day, you might be like, damn, how did that happen? But the truth is, you can overcome, those inbuilt elements, but a lot of people do get one shot by them, which is, the saddest element when it comes to us in just trying to hang out and don't really care about a lot of those elements. We're just trying to play our games and have fun. It's a sad reality, really. All right, let me drink some milk because I ran out. I have a water bottle and then I couldn't find my water bottle, and I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna drink some milk. He drinking milk. Damn, that was actually pretty good. Milk is very tasty. All right, we're doing it. It only took us 30 minutes of talking about the gaming industry before I could go and find out how incestuous the game is going to be. Any votes? Any votes? Are we gonna walk over next to Yukari over there, and is Pink gonna show up and be like, it's like, oh my god, Mom, you're so hot. What's gonna happen? My god, I'm excited. I'm excited. Will we finally get full? Actually, they were talking about it earlier, but is it really incest if she's, well, aside from the fact that she was never your child in the first place, and then on top of that, you really only looked after her for perhaps a year, maybe 10 viewers? 10 viewers. Wow, look at me go. Well, that's because I was talking about, I find, honestly, like, as a discussion thing, I find a lot of people will actually be more inclined to stick around when I'm just talking about stuff like, the gaming industry and stuff, because people are just kind of curious. And when they show up, they only show up and watch, like, people coming into stream. What are they going to do? They click on a Wuthering Waves streams. They're Wuthering Waves fans. Let's make that clear. They're usually generally gaming fans because, they play Wuthering Waves. And they'll see me talking about something like the gaming, and they'll want to stick around and listen. And what happens when they're watching me play actual Wuthering Waves? One, they notice that, hey, wait a minute, he's not up to date. That's stupid. I don't want to watch someone who's not up to date on the game. Two, 90% of the time when I'm playing Wuthering Waves, I'm complaining. They join this motherfucking stream, and they hear, yeah, Wuthering Waves is the shittiest fucking game, and they don't know how to write. Kuro Games is hiring just, like, endless idiots. And one of those things, I'm here for the chat. Welcome, welcome. See, I might have thrown you off by the fact that I just started insulting Wuthering Waves. For record, I have been playing this game, and for those who stuck around, I have been playing Wuthering Waves for months now. The only thing I do is the main quest. I am a story-focused gamer. I do not touch any of the combat, and I haven't since Chapter 1. We have done this since before Black Shores, in fact, and we've been going through, and I have had multiple crash outs about how badly written Elements Wuthering Waves are. But, because there is a but here, ever since getting to 3.0, there has been a little bit better stuff. And that has probably been shocking for me as well. But, because I'm making a video, which will be mostly negative, but there will be positives, I won't lie about that. For Wuthering Waves, you know, I've been going through it a lot lately, so that's why I've been streaming a lot, and semi-becoming a professional streamer, by which I mean I'm streaming almost every day. So, you know, every day you get to lock in to watch me talk about the random bullshit I have that comes onto the top of my head after seeing the headlines on Twitter. And then play around the game while saying, wow, Rover, could you be any less of a plank? Damn it, can I jump on his head? Yeah. Shut up, robot! Let me on you! But yes. Let us continue. Alright, Pink. Ready... Incest! Now, if she comes back to life and everyone else can see her... Moved? It did a little more than fucking move. Okay, honestly, I don't know why Luke is kind of relaxed here. Shouldn't he just be like, Rover, where are you? I just saw a report that the goddamn robot that's been sitting there for 10,000 years fucking got up and started dancing. What the hell is going on? Just throwing it out there. That's something I should have expected. I was fully expecting someone to act like that. Like, come on. Come on. That was Amos. Given how you marry me, I assume you know her too. Oh, he's gonna reveal. Oh, he's now in his spooky mode. You found her. Well, I mean, he's very shocked because, like, they went into a little pod and they just found blood and guts all over. Yeah, it would have been funny, actually. Ancient robots, always trouble. It's always damn aliens. Damn aliens. I brought her back to the academy. It's a long story. I'll fill you in. The robot can now see her. We had our emotional moment last stream where I had to grudgingly admit that the story was actually okay, even though I had so many fucking caveats that I hate Rover, or that Rover's personality is a plank. But understood. We'll have to ask. And Lucy's past. What's the status of the call? Oh, it was in the robot. Didn't we just leave it in there? That seems dangerous. Like, I'd put a guard there. What if the Fractus just show up and put a bomb on? You know, that's a good question. Why didn't the Fractus just, like no one was near the robot. I would have just blown up the robot or made it really hard to get to it. Like, let's say you can't blow it up. Just go to the robot, because apparently no one was really nearby, and just, like, cover it in something. Like, I don't know, just like, oh my god, look, we put vegetable oil all over it. Ha, it's too slippery, you can't get in now. For only 10 years. The robot woke up 10 years ago when... Oh, that's true, she did. But I thought that nobody knew that. I thought no one knew that she resonated with it. I thought the whole thing was that she just went missing because no one else knew that she resonated, though. Isn't Luke a clone of Skywalker? I think I remember from a book when I was a kid. Nope, he had an E. Oh, yeah, the fucking old-ass goddamn, the Legends book that Disney just threw out in the toilet. No idea about that, to be honest. I never read any of the Legends book. I knew a friend who did, though. He used to tell me what's been Caesar's. Part of their plan or something. I see. No, I see. If I was the Fractus, I'm gonna say it, I'd do a much better job. Alright, way better job. Alright, firstly, this is what I'd do. Instead of trying to infiltrate the academy and stuff and, like, work down here in, like, fucking anime Agartha down under the snowlands, no, I'd go up to the robot, and I would simply attach a whole bunch of Toyota Hiluxes to it and just drag it away. No one's nearby, no one will know. I can't blow it up, but I could hide it. I think that's what I'd do. You gotta, these people here think, oh, I'll blow up the academy, that'll stop them activating the robot. It's just like, or like free the monster. It's like, no ma'am, no ma'am. Hide the robot. If they don't have the robot, they can't fix everything. And at the very least, you maintain that nothing will ever change. Because, like, while you can't blow up the robot, you can just put it in a big fucking hole and be like, I'll put a tarp over it and be like, ha! Do you your best now. Hell, you could drag that robot into the fucking storm. You get a whole bunch of Toyota Hiluxes, put a brick on the accelerator, drag that shit right into the middle of a goddamn void storm area that's perpetually running around the Frostlands, and just let it get eaten away. Done. Plan finished. But they don't hire me because the people in the Fractus are probably too busy trying to be mysterious and shit, and they don't talk to each other. Or they're really insane, like fucking Scar. That explains that researchers are reporting spark and void matter concentrations over high. Storm activity. Oh my god, there's going to be a storm? That's sad. Back when the railroad was in the sky, its annual self-diagnosis caused the exercise great sword pointed at the alien to weaken. Back when the driver was in the sky, its annual self-diagnosis caused it to strike. Oh, so the sword would weaken? Huh. Okay. I must admit, this area's, I really do like this area's, like, overarching lore idea of, like, there's this entire environment that is not defined by weather systems, but it's defined by two ancient enemy type monstrosities, like the machine, the alien sentinel machine, well, not sentinel, but the alien machine, and its weird self-diagnostics and like weapon systems and, like, you know, the exo swarms and stuff, all of that, and like the void storms and the void monster and stuff, all of these things are like clashing together in such a long time scale that they've created an environment where it's like, oh yeah, the robot's running diagnostics, therefore it's not as strong, therefore the storms are going to be more active, so that's like the stormy season. I gotta appreciate that, you know. I'd say chuck it in the ocean. Is there an ocean? There is an ocean. Yeah, you could just chuck it in the ocean. That's a good point. That's a good point. Here we go. I got it. Okay, better idea. 1,000 store drones, like the Amazon delivery drones. We lift it up and we carry it to the ocean. Problem solved. I'll be careful. Next time in your infirmary, you should visit the old plane. Perhaps he's going to be the next. This is like a lead into the next quest. Maybe because like she had to have a plan, because obviously the fucking Rover didn't just accidentally lose all their memories. I'm currently of the opinion that she lost all of her memories in an attempt to get out of like Fate, because the whole thing about Fate that was in like Septimon, where she's like, wow, you're not attached to Fate at all, and I'm like, maybe that means she's like done something to herself, but in exchange had to lose all her memories. That's my current vibe idea, but maybe they just forgot about that and it was just a random thing for the sake of a random thing back in the Septimon area. Don't just for now be with Amethyst. It must be a great relief to have her back. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm so glad that my daughter grew up to be extremely hot. I really hope this doesn't lead to a very awkward moment where she asks to come and get into the bath with me and say, oh my god, I'm gonna wash your back like it's a fucking anime, and then it's gonna... Well, to be fair, surrogate parent or not, it was like a year. It had to be less than that. No, because like the model didn't change. But then again, I guess it would be too expensive to change up the model. In fact, I'm just impressed they made a model and different outfits for her. Because 90% of the time, especially with Rover, it's like, yeah, let's do a flashback to the past Rover, still wearing the same clothes. I'm just like, Rover, come on. Like, I would have liked it if Rover looked different. I would have really liked it if Rover looked different. Like, all flashbacks of Rover had Rover, maybe like her hair, you know, it's got that long fucking thing in the back. What if instead Rover had, like, fucking, like, the hair was, like, in a braid or in, like, a ponytail, or maybe it was, like, long and luscious and it didn't have, like, that little thing that turned it into that weird kind of ratty tail thing that goes down the back. Although it's not exactly, yeah, like this. Like, what if her outfit was different? It would be nice. It would really give an idea of, like, you know, time changing. For example, what if her outfit was, like, more military or a little bit more practical? And you kind of, like, look at it and you're like, huh, this is someone who's prepared to go to fight. And then, like, this outfit's more like, oh, yeah, I'm just doing some fashion. It kind of gives an idea of who she is. But instead, every fucking, like, go back in time, look at her old clothes, she's wearing the same fucking outfit. It just pisses me off. I know it's gacha, but come on. Too bad using a luffer on a stick is a pain in the ass. There's another model they used in her cinematic you didn't want to watch. Wait, really? You talking about? Well, no, you're talking about. Well, she used the school outfit model. That was. See, that's why I say this is the one arc. This is the official arc, and I made a big deal about it last stream. Where this is the official arc where they actually made Rover have even a modicum more of personality. Like, they gave her a different outfit. They reference the fact that she has emotions that are more than, happy, I want to save other people. They talked about, like, how she's, you know, her memories are of, like, a different past, and how she actually has, like, problems with them. Even though they were introduced, like, 20 minutes before they were necessary, which is one of the big fucking things that Wuthering Waves does. As you said in the last stream, Venex, better late than fucking never. The Amethyst. Oh, yeah, as in, like, her outfit. Yeah, she has the school outfit. Yeah, the school outfit, and, like, the kid outfit. Well, I suppose it's not an outfit so much as it is a, her in the back. I'm just jumping into the flowers. Hell yeah. Alright, let's go see her. Pink! What are you doing, Pink? Is someone come up to you and said you're wearing a very, unorthodox outfit? Have you been approached by the teachers and said that this is an inappropriate outfit? Let's see. Brilliant idea. Oh my god, she is going to suggest that we take a bath together. I knew it. Why do I feel I'm about to get in trouble? Totally unfair stereotype. Hey, if my daughter wants to go and club seals, baby seals on the beach, I think I support her activities. Club all the seals you want, baby. I was just thinking, now that other people can see me, I could attend my own fan meeting. Yeah, I mean, that seems about right. I was expecting you to do that and have like a song and do a singing and shit like that. The fans would lose their minds. Yeah, that actually sounds kind of fun, honestly. I'd want to see this. Forget all your worries for a night and just enjoy young energy of... Alright. I shall enjoy the youth energy. Well, considering the rover, this form of rover probably has like the memories of exactly 1 year. You gotta realize that, like, that's not a lot of fucking, like, 1 year's worth of memories. It's crazy that her fan club stayed around for 10 years. I appreciate the click for I do as well, actually. As a person, especially early on in patch 2 and patch 1, I was, oh my god, I was fucking, I hated it so much that it was hard to keep focus between raging. Now I'm, you know, I'm enjoying myself a little bit, kind of, sort of, little bit. But back then, I hated it so much that stuff would just go over my head, and I'd appreciate those things. Not to mention, since patch 21 onwards, I didn't watch, I'm not gonna watch, I didn't engage too much with the side content, and I also, I didn't rush, I never skipped ahead or rushed things, but my god, I was tempted with how raging I was at some of the fucking actions that took, like, good lord, whenever fucking Gelbrina or whatever showed up in that fucking, was patch 2.7, holy shit, I was so mad. That stream was nothing but me stopping every 10 minutes to yell about how much I fucking hated her character and how stupid everything was. And then they had the gall to be like, oh no, we broke the fucking homing beacon that you needed to take in here, so all of our friends should show up. We're done for. And then they just turned around and said, but Rover, you're our real beacon. And they showed up anyway, and I was like, this is the stupidest thing I have ever fucking seen. I was so angry. I was so angry. Oh, anyway. For little years, the websites are screwed. I'm shocked that one of the things that I am shocked for her is, like, she clearly can hack stuff. I wonder why she wasn't engaging with, like, the online stuff. They kept talking about how much they love a song or share a problem they're having in their lives and started connecting with each other. Basically, her old fan site kept going. It's a very cute thing, even though like shocking because 99% of people would like, what's that? You released a popular song 3 months later, nobody cares. I never saw myself as a hitmaker, just an amateur that was singing my heart. Don't worry, you cute anime girl. That was how you'll be able to sing. I guess you can be impressed by it because like she didn't even have like a picture of herself on there. Because if she had like this extraordinarily hot pink-haired girl image on there, I think she'd get a lot of clicks and you could understand why it lasted for 10 years. But one unfinished song on a goddamn fan site that led to all of this is damn impressive, really, when you think about it. I mean, you've had 10 years of sitting around watching everyone fuck around and stuff, so you could probably have already finished your song, right? Yeah, of course she loves them. They're all her friends. Oh, you wouldn't have said that. Well, I mean, she didn't have the best time here, I suppose. I never had some grand passion before I came to Ghost. I wanted to live an easy, happy life and try a bit of everything. It's interesting that, like, there are elements with her becoming a digital ghost which I am quite interested in. For example, she seems to have this opinion that she died. Does that mean she doesn't feel like she's a real continuation? Because, like, this is something they're a little bit unclear about. Does she not feel that she's a direct continuation of that original form of herself? Does she feel like the girl that or the rover raised and cared for and loved is dead, and what she is right now is merely the remnant resonator that was ripped apart and like turned into a kind of like digital copy via, you know, she had that frequency recorder and stuff on her, which I assume would have helped in that. So does she consider herself just an AI, or does she consider herself like an actual continuation, but does admit that her former form was dead? But I suppose this is just me going into things that I would like to talk about in terms of a narrative. But the truth is, Wuthering Waves doesn't like touching too much on this. In fact, this quest has been the biggest they've ever touched on something like this. For example, back when Luno fucking lost all awareness and everyone forgot who she was in her society, I was kind of like, wow, I didn't like a lot of that quest, but I was kind of like, oh, okay, everyone forgot about her. So her entire personality, I mean, her life has been turned upside down. Like, nobody knows her anymore. That's a big fucking deal. Her whole goddamn existence has changed. And then immediately after, she just smiles and says, nah, it'll be fine. And it was. And literally nothing emotional. There was no, like, build-up. There was no problems. It was literally solved with a snap of fingers because the writers just refused to let it go that far. This is the furthest they've ever gone with those things, but they're still not addressing the deeper core points. I think I have overanalyzed a little bit with Amadeth, especially in the last quest where I was wondering whether or not when she saw the rover and she was worried about, you know, the rover learning about the rover's past and then like feeling sad and stuff, was she just trying to not acknowledge in her head that the rover had forgotten all about her? But I think, like, because, you know, obviously this rover doesn't have those memories anymore, and she knew that this rover doesn't have those memories anymore. So telling this rover, oh, by the way, you came from an alien planet and you also missed that alien planet, isn't going to have much of an impact. But in my mind, I felt there was like a fair reason for it if you could go with, oh, if she has to acknowledge that this rover wouldn't care about that information that she's been hiding, she would also need to acknowledge that the memories and care and emotions and precious time that she had with the rover have all been destroyed, and that person is dead and gone forever, and all those memories are gone in the wind, which I think would have been a more interesting element, and in my own head I think fits better, but I don't think the writers were thinking, which is why I say that sometimes I think I'm going a little bit too deep. Technically it's the same person, just without her physical body. See, there's the question, but that's like the philosophical question we can have, but how does she feel about it? That's the big question, because you can have Amadeth be like, oh yeah, I'm the same person. I've just been turned into a spooky ghost. But we can also have Amadeth be like, I died. I am not her. I am the copy that was uploaded into the robot. And, you know, she calls herself a digital ghost. I believe at the start she calls herself a copy at some point. Now that I might be wrong on that, I have to go back and check. But even if she did call herself that then, it doesn't seem that either way it's truly affecting her in a big negative way. Like, even if she thinks she's a ghost or just thinks she's a copy of the original, it seems like it's not too much of a big problem for her. Her problems lie elsewhere. But I do appreciate her character. As I said, a character with a lot of deep trauma who smiles her way through things is really appreciated. And I really appreciated that they took the time with this. They didn't immediately have, Rover go, oh, she's hiding something and I need to see past her smile. And then immediately 5 minutes later say, you don't have to smile anymore, you know. And then, you know, Amadeth would be like, oh my God, I'm so sad. And no, it wasn't. They let that build much longer, which is one of the big problems with Wuthering Waves I've discussed in the past. Wuthering Waves has a very bad job of pacing, and it's foreshadowing. More often than not, it'll foreshadow something within the scene. It needs it. It'll pull out a plot thing right then and use it right then. And Galbrina was the biggest example of that. She literally just was a walking plot convenience device. But other times they've done it as well. And with this rover part, which, you know, I talked about how this was the best I've ever done with the rover, but again, still failed that, where they introduced 20 minutes before the whole scene with revealing the climax of Amadeth's thing and how she was worried about telling about the history in the past and like all that, and the Signalist robot with the feelings and whatever. Like 20 minutes before that, we had the rover finally say, for the first time in the entire fucking game, by the way, I'm sad and I really want to go home. It's just like, that happened then, why it wouldn't happen much earlier on. Which it should have, which is one of the things that I think they fuck around. It feels like the Rover's writers, they don't seem to want to, they want to contain everything in one quest rather than spread it out when they really need to foreshadow a lot of the things that happen later. They did foreshadow Pink existing, which is good, and I like that, which is why Pink is probably the peak part of it rather than the Rover's elements just kind of fuck it up. That's a mindfuck I enjoy in sci-fi. I've already Altered Carbons and some fun stuff with that. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's a good mindfuck in a lot of sci-fi. I like it. I do appreciate it. I've actually been reading a book relatively recent. Well, not relatively recently, but I read it over a few months. Last time I read it was about a month ago. It's a very long-running series. It's called Undying Mercenaries, and in Undying Mercenaries, it's literally what's happening. Every single character dies, and they don't pretend like there's they don't pretend like, like, is there a copy? Is it a copy? Is it your soul going through? Nope. 100% it's a copy. When that character fucking dies, they just get a copy made back out in a fucking artificial womb and given a rifle and sent right back to the front. And the main character is a guy who just does not give a fuck. His entire squad, like the entire focus of the story, is mostly around this battalion of group that get sent into the worst zones and whatnot. And they just die and die and die and die. And get copied and copied and copied and copied. It's great. And it's really fun. But the main character kind of like, unlike a few of the others and a lot of the other people back on in other groups, they basically embrace it and they're like, well, we're going to die. We're going to die. They don't try to kill themselves, but they definitely just go like, fuck it, we're going in. And like, if you get killed, you get killed. It's a very interesting kind of setup that, like, instead of having the whole, oh God, I'm worried about whether or not I'm the real one. They're like, nah, you're not. Yeah, we just ball. Fuck it, we ball. Yeah, it's we ball. It's literally that. It is go straight in, and it's quite enjoyable. I would recommend it. I will say that some of the elements get a little samey, but Undying Mercenaries has an excellent audiobook series. It's literally Southern man is like in America, like Southern American man is like, well, sir, I'm gonna have to go off there and get my head blown off, but you know, I gotta do it for the Corps. It is what it is, and it's quite funny. I quite enjoyed it. Anyway, back to this ghost. Maybe my whole I want to be a saver thing. Well, yeah, of course, you know, that was based. Everyone wants to copy their parent. And she can't remember her parent. There we go. After I died all the time, I had to look over the people I think I overlooked before. So many people dream of becoming stars girls, but that was never my dream. I'd rather be the one who looks up to the stars, the one who watches over them. Damn. Sorry, I was looking at her tits. What do you see? You're already the shining like one. You already watched over. No. I'm gonna say you're gonna already shining like one because this is the more Riz option, and because I'm a good parent, I will always support the self-confidence of my daughter. Go ahead. I want to hear you sing. Oh my god, that was actually a pretty good attempt at mirroring as though they're touching each other. I was saying it last thing, but they don't do a very good job of like having the models interact as though they're touching. It always looks like you're just like getting two fucking things in Blender and mashing them together. Oh, she really stressed that Ichiban, which means the best. I'm the most important audience member. You need a better look for the show. What? Wait, I'm gonna change clothes? My god. Is she gonna put me in the uniform? Let's see. Am I gonna actually have clothes change? Like, Rover's like, what? But I don't change clothes. I never wear different clothes. Wait. You can do that? What? My god. I'm wearing new clothes. This changes. I'm scared. Brand new, just like remember good place called. Okay, I guess like. Oh wait, no. Now let's just have a look at the inadvertent law they just revealed here. In this world, it's possible to have the ability and technology to immediately change someone's clothes, meaning that in the middle of battle, I could potentially derobe someone. Now that's a power that would probably overcome some people. Like, you know, think of how many women we fight in this game. Like, evil woman? Ah ha ha, I am evil woman. Pavlova attacking us with her silly red flowers. And I'm just like, oh, well, Pavlova, you're taking me on. What if you were naked? And see, I think it would be a great idea. Thank you for this new plan, Aberneth. I'm gonna complain about this in the future when I'm like, this is stupid. Rover should be fighting properly. Why didn't Rover just make her clothes fall off like a smart? She'd be doing exactly. She'd be like, yeah, and I'd have the opportunity to run away. Anyway, brings me back. Poor Amethyst. Really? Oh man. So this is the I guess like everyone fucking loved her back then. I'm gonna say ... because I don't know what the ... means. I'm just embarrassed. Honestly, you walking around like that, Pink, is really hot. Why are you blushing? Since one of having charm a bad thing. It's bad once it turns into a yandere harem. Now, that's another thing I think that Wuthering Waves need to add in. If Amethyst is pretty good, but if we had Amethyst but yandere, I'd be even happier. Could you imagine if yandere Amethyst exists and her whole plan wasn't so much protect you from like the past, but was I'm gonna give you back your memories at any cost, even if you don't want me to? That'd be pretty good. I like my red flag women. And she's pink, which is a shade away. I need to look up my skirt. This is very important, so give me a second. I scouted it back when I used to use nap through lectures. They lectured in here? Damn. Are they gonna let you? Alright, so we're gonna watch the cute music scene. Oh, I know. I'm not gonna be able to move around. I'm gonna have to just watch it immediately. Get off the stage! Someone yells at her. Get off the stage! What are you doing? You're ruining it! Is this the part where she remembers that she didn't wear pants today? And she's like, no, embarrassment! She didn't wear pants, actually. I'll give him this. The fan club will probably be like... Is this gonna go on for the whole music song? God damn, she's got to be one of the hottest characters. Oh, they're using the English voice actor? Or is it... I wonder if they... I was expecting the Chinese voice actor. Or something. Good lord. She's extremely hot. Is she gonna turn into a robot halfway through? Make out. Kiss! They should have kissed. Okay, wait, no, that's her mum. So, yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Alright. She needs to fire her sound mixer. Hard to, yeah, the lyrics were a little hard to hear, but they did have a top thing. It was not so bad. If you hadn't said it was English, I wouldn't have noticed. Yeah, the lyrics can be a little bit different. One of the things Wuthering Waves does a lot of, which I'm not sure I really like, is they do have a lot of like English music that I really don't think fits half the time that it comes up. But you know, I'm not a big fan of even voice music. I feel like emotional music doesn't necessarily need a voice. I'm okay with this for the sake of being like a, you know, a stage where she's doing a song that she sung. But like some of the emotional moments in other parts of the game where they have like a voice thing, I'm just like, eh. エネルギー学部の先輩から話を聞いたことがあるんだけど、まさかフリーとスノーフラッグだったなんて。I can't accept this. What is this? Is this a fan breakup? Oh no, he's just like saying I can't believe it. だって伝説のカリスマ陽キャで教授たちを The professor's headache and the golden student. 学園の風雲児だったらしいぞ。だからそれの何が信じられないんだ。Sounds great. 別にイメージ通りだろ。砕けた花って曲を聴いて。he's just had the scales have fallen from oh, his internal image has been changed up. Maybe your impression was... Yeah, I think this man had a very different impression of Hizoshi. That's actually a fairly good good meme, like, thing, because there's a lot of people and they were like, no, my wife would never be like this. But, like, it goes with VTubers a lot. Alright, let's think about what these guys are on. Gamers, what have I missed? You missed a song and, lots of, like, hot pictures of, Rover's daughter. I can say that because I'm the ghost controlling Rover. Although, no doubt, they're going to start to... they haven't really... Because as much as, like, they show cute moments between the two, they've never done anything romantic between the two. I'll say that now. Like, I'll joke about it, but they've never actually done anything, like, romantic between the two. Like, they haven't had a Ameth going, like, I'm going to go in for the kiss. It's always been... Or, like, you know, a blush or anything. There's nothing romantic. It's always been, like, cheeky girl who misses you type stuff. Yeah, a higher dimensional being puppeting her is sort of fucked up to think about. It is. I think a few stories have done that before. Deltarune, for one. She always wanted him. I thought I saw that little bastard refusing to finish her studies, or me finally losing my mind from her antics. I never thought she'd just vanish. It is an interesting thing that she just, like, disappeared. That is it. That's nice. I do like that they did a good job of building up how people felt about Ameth. She's got, like, so many people that, like, really cared about her and stuff. And it's like, oh my god, oh, she's real! Type shit. They're all gonna go for the fan. Do I get to cut the line to go to the to go get a sign? Let's see what these people are thinking. Oh. Oh my god, it's Fleet Snowfluff! Are they all going to be like, but wait a minute, she doesn't look this, she looks literally the same age. It's been 10 years. Well. God, these are some people who have finally met their idol. Oh, she posted more songs? I thought she just was the one song. I'm still surprised that she didn't engage online while she was a digital ghost for 10 years. I fully expected her to be writing on boards and like fucking trolling people and memeing about and maybe even having an entire online gaming presence and shit like that because she's a fucking ghost. She could fuck around. I guess if I was writing this, I would have either made her do something like that, invented a reason why she couldn't do that. For example, like the AI systems within the academy basically would notice if she tried to fuck around like that, or I would have had her maybe be like more sad or depressed, or her warped mindset meant that she couldn't do those types of things in like a healthy way, like more. But that would make the story a little different. Take over someone's Alexa and gaslight them. Pretty much. You know, I was expecting her to do stuff like that. You'd get drunk and ordered 5,000 lads of fish food last night. Pretty much. But she probably wouldn't be mean to people, but I would have expected her to be making a lot of online friends. I would have expected this fan club, to be like, oh, Amos has been posting songs for like years. Nobody knows what she looks like, but she still must be a student in the school because because that's the only person who can post on this side must be a school student or whatever, like something like that. But they never went that far. And then maybe like the ultimate thing would be revealing to the people that she cared about and that she couldn't talk to anymore because she was too afraid to, the people who knew her in real life. Then she could talk to them now that she's got a body that can actually like reflect in reality. But I can accept this. There are minor things like this in almost every game series and anime and whatnot that you can go, why didn't you do that? Doesn't make a little bit of sense. But they're not big deals, especially when the overarching things all connect, which in this one, they mostly do. Tardy. I feel like if I tried to use that name of a song, guys, my favorite song is Tardy. Like, I feel like if I put enough emphasis on it, someone would think I'm saying a slur. That song is pure brain. Oh, I didn't know they said brain rot would use for a word like denpa in Japanese. Just so you know, I know Japanese. Kind of a big deal. But anyway, yeah, denpa. So, yeah, that kind of goes with brain rot. Because that's kind of like electricity or like wavelengths is what they're trying to say. I have to meet. All right, I get to go through the bar group. Look at them all. Oh wait, no. Where's my outfit? Where's my fucking outfit gone? Wait, do I not get it? Do I not get it as an outfit forever? Oh man, that sucks. I was gonna try and look up my skirt. Not now. It's later. All right. So tell him why you. Oh man, getting that. That's cute. That's cute. She's like, I don't have any inspiration. Just 10 years of just chilling. I just thought I'd come back for one time. It's kind of fun. Look at her talking to her friends. Well, not her friends, but it's nice. I like it. All right. I have to return to my seat and wait for the waifu. I mean, the daughter-fu. I've got to use the correct terminology. Come, daughter-fu. I am waiting for your arrival. Tell me of your happiness. Too bad Rover's a plank. Don't... Oh, she's thinking about this. But does it really matter to you that much, Rover? In the end, you don't have memories of those things. I guess there's like a kind of drive to know about yourself. Yeah, alright. Yeah, so like, basically, yeah, that kind of fits with all the stuff. Rover... I said before that I think Rover's a god. I think it's more like Rover's a demigod or a godlike being. Like a god... Like, you know, it almost feels like they're from a higher plane of existence. Like, their species of aliens have reached, you know, we have gone and ascended to the immortal plane. And they're fighting like the Theodans over space and time and shit. She's definitely an immortal, like, unironically. Like, 100%, Rover is an immortal. And reality warping is very real. Because the amount of, like, let's be logical here. The things we have seen Rover do. One, she existed for at least 10,000 years. Because even prior to this, I think prior to all of this happening, you know, where was she? She was back home, clearly, and had a life going on there. Whatever the life was like that she missed. Even though we only learn about this in, like, the last fucking 20, 40 minutes of this quest. But, the other thing we know is that Rover has a lot of overwhelming power, seems to be unaffected by various elements. Big one is that really goes with her being a divine being, aside from just the fact that she just doesn't age, is the fact that the Rover is not affected by fate. She is a being that is not affected by fate. As they pointed out in the Septimon arc, fate just doesn't attach to her. It just kind of like flows around her. So clearly she's not affected. And then the other element you can go for there is that when she's in Septimon, she goes back in time, or at the very least not back in time, but I suppose goes into like the gap between reality, the chaos place, and literally brings someone back to reality, and after that person was obliterated by fate. So Luno gets obliterated by fate for fucking up with fate and doing some sort of weird trade. Luno gets brought back by the Rover, who isn't affected by the memory blast ability, and not only does she bring her back, she warps fate and all of reality. So time, reality, and death is something that is malleable to some degree to the Rover. So Rover's most definitely a god, and anyone who disagrees with that really doesn't understand what God is. A god necessarily isn't just an omniscient, overpowered thing. You can have gods that have various, you know, power levels, and I'd say that's where we're living with the Rover, especially considering she made several creatures that are considered gods, although at this point we can say the Sentinels might have been maybe, like, not fully created by her, but most certainly, most certainly, these godlike Sentinel beings are servants to her. Therefore, she's a god in her own way. Like, even if she doesn't have the power to see the future or blow up a giant fucking rock or something, the gods that are the land gods for the various countries that some of which she started, are subservient to her, meaning she's a god. So yes, I don't think anyone can disagree with that. Like, anyone who would come into a thread and think that Rover isn't a god would be shockingly, like, no way. All that I know about this game is from watching a few of your streams. That's cool. Yeah, it's the lore of the Rover is kind of interesting. I just feel like it's been handled poorly. I also really didn't appreciate it in Chapter 1, because Chapter 1 was all like giving her be the chosen one, you're the most overpowered thing ever, and like in retrospect, they could have done that better, a whole fucking lot better, but at the time, I fucking hated the reveal that she was a god, because I was like, oh wow, okay, yep, you're not only the chosen one, you're actually God, made God, because like then I believe they literally say she made the Sentinels, and like founded the city. It was all like so much kind of like aura farmer, you're the best in the world type shit. And Chapter 1 was well known for this. Like the later chapters at least like had better character dialogue which built off this, but Chapter 1 was like all about the characters like trying to suck off the Rover as hard as possible in terms of the dialogue, in terms of the events, in terms of everything, which really made it feel not like a game so much as like a really shitty isekai novel where they're just going, oh my god, the harem loves you, and you know, it's a gacha, I get that for a certain degree, but I can't believe they went as far as to make me, a well-known gacha player, kind of disgusted. Anyway, the wreck made the X-Rider here in Earth was forced to go offline to, the one forced to go offline to stop Theoden, their power should be comparable. The wreck's design of the X-Rider the one forced to go offline, stop Theoden, comparable. I wonder if there's other Exo Striders then. So why was one destroyed and devoured while the others managed to stop the third and seal the saga with a great sword? That's a good point. Could have just been timing, but I'm gonna just guess that she was driving the robot at the time. That's my guess. Just like a full-on guess is that she was driving the robot at the time, and it was it. I said that from the start. No, it was you. It was you. You were driving the robot, and you're just really good. Look at my cute daughter food. Isn't this great? I played some ZZ and not just sort of made me feel bad because of that. A bunch of fucked up people falling for the same guy because you gotta let everyone have their flirting. See, it's gacha logic. It's gacha logic, sadly. The games do their best work with character and like essentially romance that never touches over a thing. It's just something you have to accept. There are gachas that don't do it fully. To some degree or another, they either don't do it hard or they do it in side content. For example, Girls Frontline 1. Girls Frontline 1 is probably the best possible gacha for not going hard into every girl wants to have sex with the main character. But still respects and really cares for the main character. Now, they do all want to have sex with the main character, don't get me wrong, but that exists in almost like a separate timeline. If you just play the story for Girls Frontline, all of those things like the characters really love you or whatever, those more represent the love and care of soldiers for their commander. And while there are like some indications of like kind of little bit romantic elements, for the most part it's all about they care for each other, they care for the commander, but they also really care for each other and fellow soldiers more. Especially early on, Girls Frontline is an excellent gacha for that. And if you want that, you can go to Girls Frontline 2, where Girls Frontline 2 is really still does the whole vibe element, but it does more embrace the every girl wants to have sex with the commander more openly than it does in Girls Frontline 1 by far. But Girls Frontline 1 is really great for, I want a gacha, but I don't want a harem. Like, okay, don't want a harem, that's wrong. I don't want the harem to be the front and center of everything. Is a better way to put it. And also justify why the girls would like it. Almost every other thing, like Rover, for example, is a fucking plank, a walking goddamn brick wall. But a lot of other people, like, you don't understand why they would really love the Rover, to be honest. Beyond the suspension bridge effect. But when it comes to the commander and Girls Frontline, you could totally see why they would fall for him. I could totally see it. 100%. Anyway, already finished with Fami? She should probably have stalkers by now. I used to have oh my god, she was a party girl. Yeah, I took LSD and shrooms at the party in Silent all the time. Fuck, you can't stop. I do like most of the ZZZ dudes. Some of the dudes were pretty good. You know, Wuthering Waves basically stopped having dudes after a while, but you know, it is what it is. They figured out what sold. Alright, let's go for a walk. See, these are cute moments, but right now it's all still like, you know, as cute and elements of romance you could say. It's not like she's truly in love with him. Her, Rover. Look, it's a cat. Nice pussy. Little cutscenes. Yeah, it's nice enough. It's nice. I think Amethyst's story is probably one of the best. It's just let down by some of the elements of the Rover herself. But generally speaking, a very good quest. Expedition mode. Oh, we're going on a drive. Night drive? Are we going to make out? I know I say this every quest, but is this the time we make out? Finally. Wait. Am I suggesting that Rover make out with her surrogate daughter? I should never. No, do it. Just do it. Do it! Emperor from fucking Star Wars. Do it. Sunday drive. Well, no, actually, we're not driving. What the fuck? I thought we were going to be driving, but no. The final word of this quest before I move on to the next quest and never see her again. I felt boredom was a ghost.
ゴーストだった頃はいつも退屈だったし。
You're still a ghost in a manner of speaking, though. A good question is, are you like a physical body now? Like, if I touch her, am I touching like a bunch of little drones, or like? I'm thinking too deeply. But
屋上に行ってちょっと気分転換でもしない？
or they, your call.
行きましょう。本当によかった。
And then right at the end of the quest, someone stabs her. That'd be awesome. Okay, maybe not.
偽物の空なのにどうしてこんなに美しいのかな。
This would be a great line to have if she was previously had been more open about the idea of thinking she was dead. I think there would have been some good emotions there. Maybe if there's a companion quest for Amethyst, which I don't know if there would be because this quest was kind of her companion quest. I wonder because and to be honest, I have to say I think making the companion quest the main quest is a good call because Wuthering Waves does their best work when dealing directly with the character rather than trying to integrate character into their overall Theoden bullshit that most of the time falls flat. So I think if they'd made Amethyst be like have a more of a thought process about her death, that would have been interesting. Now, give me a minute though, guys. I'm just going to go to the bathroom. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go drive my motorcycle around and make my guy. I'm going to make my girl ride the motorcycle around for a minute while I go to the bathroom so you can look at something. Sunday drive. We're doing the Sunday drive while I go to the bathroom, but then I'll be back. I promise. For everyone who's been hanging out though, by the way, and watching me play Wuthering Waves all this time, I know, you know, just like you said, you're a lurker there, Zen, and I know other people are lurkers. Like, for all that stuff, I will say, you know, I will be making a whole video on this thing. Now, how do I activate the thing? Is it T? Unable to use what do you mean? Why can't I use autopilot? Do I need to be on the road or something? What do you mean? What's the current state? I want to use the autopilot. Why not? Is it got to be on the road? Or maybe it's got to be on a road. Oh yeah, I'm not on the road. I'm on like on a side thing. Whee! I'm getting on the plant. Eh! Get out of my way! I'm a motorist! Vroom! Oh my god. Jump! Jump! Vroom! I don't know what I just did, but I got it. I think the road's over here. There, hits the road. So now I can press it, right? Hell yeah. Alright. I will let it go into cinematic mode. There we go. Sit in cinematic mode for a bit. I'll be going to the bathroom. I'll be back in a second. So enjoy the cinematic mode. Yeah, the cinematic thing for the bike is nice. Like I've said, and I'll say it, and I admit it all the time. Every time I say this, I am a gamer who is obsessed with the story and the lore and the setting. The gameplay for Wuthering Waves, while good, takes a backseat to a lot of my considerations on that. But it is very good gameplay, and it's got very good like minor things like this. You know, you can have this cool little thing and just play the game, or just have this playing while talking. It's a very neat thing. I like it a lot. Even if I do have to say that, like overall, this being good can't make up for some of the parts of Wuthering Waves I really do dislike to a very strong degree. Also, I feel like Rover is totally going to get arrested for some of the stuff she's doing like that. God damn, Rover, what are you doing? But it is very pretty. Very pretty. If only the game's story could be given that much attention. I think that a lot of people underestimate. I think it's because you can't really pay too much to get good story. I mean, if you could pay someone to just have a good story, then, for example, Marvel movies and that wouldn't be all just generally hit and miss. Like, wow, look at all these amazing fucking billions of dollars you've put into this fucking movie, and like the story is absolute dog shit, which happens a lot. And I think that comes down to the fact that you just can't buy talent when it comes to writing. You need to work on it. You can work on talent. You can improve your skill with writing. You can, you can find people who are good at writing, but generally speaking, you can't buy it. It is not purchasable. Even if you can go up and find someone like like a good director or whatever. That doesn't necessarily guarantee everything. Which is unfortunate, because otherwise I think Wuthering Waves would have had a fucking excellent story. They have the money. They just don't know where the people are. They just don't have the people, in other words, I think. Which is really sad and confusing, because they made Punishing Grey Raven, and I don't know how those things connected. Like, yeah, it's a bit shocking. I'm not fighting those people. I'm driving past. They should try to shoot me. Anyway. Enough bike maxing. Let's get off cinematic mode. How do I get out of cinematic mode? Cinematic mode! Leave! How do I leave cinematic mode? Oh my god! I don't know how to leave cinematic mode! Oh, there we go. Alright. We have a thing near that. We'll go near that. It seems to be a sub thing, and I do sub things for the main quests when I'm actually enjoying the main quest. Otherwise, I'll just be like, I don't want to talk to these random people in this middle of this fucking quest. Fucking bullshit. If it's that. Alright, what's over there? Oh, shortcut. Oh, it's just a shortcut. I don't care. Maybe I can get up there going this way. Yeah, actually, it did work out. Yeah, so I don't need to go to that optional thing. Alright, let's go see the final moments of this quest. We will never see Amethyst ever again. This is the final moment, fellas. This is the last moment where your wife in the RPG has their final lines and then says the same 3 things over and over again. You'll never see her again. Get ready. Well, that's cute. There's fireworks? Oh. Why are they doing fireworks? Was there something special on? Or just for the sake of it? They're like, well, okay, just convenient fireworks. I'll take it. What's your frequency say? What will you do next? She probably will. She's got to figure out the robot stuff. You couldn't fix it last time. Why do you think you can fix it this time? I mean, probably because she's the hero and stuff. See, there could have been I think a character who wants to obsess over Rover, especially now that they've tried to introduce the idea of the Rover being upset. I'm not upset, but being like a little scared of that would be interesting. But like a character who wants to save her from herself would be interesting, I'm saying. 問題を解決するのは簡単じゃない。けど、あなたはいつだって不可能を可能にしてきた。今回もきっと大丈夫。Probably, I'm gonna do it. Thanks, Pink. 解決したら、また旅を続けるつもり？次の目的地は？ She'll probably go to the capital of Mingqing, the cultivation world. Well, Rover just kind of goes wherever fucking shit takes her. In other words, like, she probably won't make an actual conscious decision. Are you sure about that? Like, honestly, you've been fucking asleep for 10 years and letting these Theodens run around. Rover, it's your fucking job to kill them. It's big, but locked. Oh, little version. Memories. Oh, is this the memory of her leaving? Is she gonna tell her that she's gonna lose all her memories and shit? Is she gonna cry like a normal child, or what's she gonna do? Fair enough. Ask when you're going to come back.
それはわからないの。
Well, does she know she's gonna lose her memories? Is she gonna tell the child? That's the big question.
約束する。機会があれば必ず会いに来るよ。
Looks like she's not gonna tell her. Maybe... No, Rover had to know she was gonna lose her memories. That was part of the plan. Well,
本当だよ。
Ameth was really, you know...
じゃあラハイロイで待ってる。別の場所に行っても大丈夫。ソラリスは広い。私やラハイロイに縛られないね。でもすごく長生きしてるんでしょ。帰ってきた時私は死んじゃってるかも。
What if I'm dead by the time you come back? Yeah. Fucking free run logic
ご
here.
めんなさい。私がわがままだった。
She's way mature like that.
大丈夫だから。
I was expecting her to be like a little bit more willful as a child.
もう大丈夫。心配してくれるの？
It's almost the opposite of what I would expect from a child thing. You know, the child being all like crying and stuff, and like Rover having to console her.
不公平だと思う。どうして世界を救うのは
You're always
いつ
so
もあ
ex-
なたなの？
So
こんなに疲れて辛そうな顔してるのに。
right here, everyone. This sentence right here is where Wuthering Waves made a mistake. You're always so exhausted, always getting hurt. The two things we haven't seen enough of, or really any of. Only in this quest did we ever have even a hint that Rover was getting exhausted or tired or wanted to go home. Before this, Rover, even in her flashbacks, was a peak chosen one MC. Always ready to throw down, always with the correct words, always with a smile, an open hand, and just saving the people. This is the moment where we should have seen, like I said it before and I'll say it again. If in chapter 1 or chapter 2, the Rover, after a big fight, walked into her room, closed the door, saying to everyone, I'm just having a little break, don't worry. After saying everyone's smiling and clapping, saying, thanks, Rover, you're so powerful, you've done a great job. And then the quiet music just stops as she closes the door. She leans back against the door and slumps down a little bit. Out comes Abby. Abby goes, what's wrong? Rover, what's wrong? And you don't see Rover's face. You just see the lower part of her mouth. And then it flips to show you Abby's response to it, like, which is like a bit of shocked face. And Abby puts a little paw on her, on Rover, and Rover simply says, I'm just a little tired, boss. Just a little tired, boss. That's all we needed, but they didn't do it. So this line can't hit as well as it could have hit. This line would have hit perfectly if we had seen the Rover suffering. I'm tired, Lenny. Another day at the long day. Yes, another day at the long day of saving the fucking world factory. That's what they needed to see. But Wuthering Waves writers didn't think this far ahead. Maybe they had the idea of Ameth in the back of their head, but they never really considered it in terms of a build-up and how we would display those elements. Yeah, the I'm tired boss never happened, so we can't really get affected by this. Furthermore, I'd probably make young Ameth be a bit more emotional herself here. I'd probably be like saying, like, you know, you don't have to do this, that kind of stuff as well, but I'd also be saying, her cry, like, just stay here with me. Just, like, it'll be fine. Like, you don't have to go. Like, you know, her being a little bit more willful as a child would have been nice to see. You know, wanting her fucking mother, essentially, to not go off and leave her, but also not suffer and stuff, because, like, she's, you know. What am I supposed to look at? There's every tear and every cry breaks a bit of my heart. Well, yeah, you are like
命の叫びは
yeah, you're trying to save people.
魂を焦がすほど悲しく響いていた。私の感じる
Their
苦
pain is
し
no
みは
different from mine, neither
彼
is
ら
their
一
joy.
人一人が感じる苦しみと一緒。
See, here, there's great options here.
私が抱く幸せもまた
Their pain is no different
彼
from
らが
mine,
抱く幸せと
neither is their joy. And then this is the part where a character who's built upon the idea of saving Rover from her own like suffering might say, but where do you come in there? It's their joy, their sadness. Where's yours? You know? That's an element of a character I've always thought in my back of the head which would be good for this game. Like a character who wants to save and stop Rover and could be a villain. And I thought Pavlova might have been it, which is the red girl who I call Pavlova. But unfortunately, she just had her own fucking weird thing of like, I want to save like 17 people on this little island that died 400 years ago. That's her fucking deal. But yeah, I'm a little bit... I wish they could have done that. But yeah, it's just it ain't there. It ain't there.
だから私にできることがあるなら
So if I can help, I will. See, I wanted you to be more than just the hero, though, Rover. I wanted the past Rover to be someone that was different. I wanted them to be potentially jaded. Someone who desperately is trying to solve this problem and really does care, but is getting increasingly sure that they can't solve the problem. And beyond solving the problem, perhaps their family, their friends, everyone else in their immortal realm or immortal planet world or whatever, and with all their high-tech super magic, is moving on with their lives. And she's left behind, a soldier on a battlefront that no one cares about. That sounds great, doesn't it? But they just don't put in the extra effort required to get there.
じゃあ大きくなったら私が守ってあげる。
Alright, so you're just gonna, yes, you know the flag of I'm gonna protect you when you're older. Fair enough, fair enough.
守るエイメス
だって何でもでき
You're
る
not
わけ
invincible,
じ
you
ゃ
get
ない
hurt,
でし
you
ょ。
get tired, you get sad, just like
怪我
everyone
も
else.
するし疲れるし悲しくなるし涙も流す。
I have never seen her get sad in the entire existence. She fucking Rover, no. I will eat 2 cheeseburgers now. Hell yeah.
だから私が守ってあげるの。
She's a very mature 9-year-old.
あなたを傷つけようとする人がいたら私が倒す。スペースファンタジーカティアみたいに。
She is a cutie.
私もあなたみたいな救世主になってみせる。
Well, that's not something you really want to do though. It's a bit difficult.
あ、笑わないで。私本気だから。
I feel like Amos's entire life and eventual like situation was really one shot by the fact that Rover showed a half second of weakness in front of her. It was a mistake.
分かったもう笑わないよ
A mistake of a parent to show weakness in front of a child. Because a child, you are the most
ちゃんと
powerful
聞いた
thing.
よ
Never seen the Rover set. I don't know why it's fucking... What? Alright, I'll stop now. I know you're serious. I'm listening to every word.
じゃ
I'll be counting it.
あ頼んだよ
Oh, that was
エイメ
cute.
ス
Oh, Rover with a smile for once that actually looks really nice. Are you fucking falling asleep? Kiss her. What?
シギルムに奪われた周波数が戻ってきてるの少し気持ち悪くて
She's got a little bit of
でも大丈夫アブが中で手伝ってくれてるから
She's
すぐ
gonna
回復する
falls asleep and kisses her while she's
少し
asleep.
くらい寝ても大丈夫よ。もうクタクタでしょ。
Kiss while asleep.
ゆっくり休んで。
God damn, Amethyst is extraordinarily hot. Close your eyes.
あとは私が。
What's going on? We're in sleepy mode now? Is this the reveal where Amethyst had to fucking murder herself? And here I was just hoping for a kiss while she was asleep. And that would have been a cool thing we could have seen. Because then, like, the rover could avoid responsibility for it entirely. Cool! I'm a robot! Oh, I don't see a reflection. Is this its memories, or I'm just like controlling the robot as it exists now in the real world? No, wait, this is the fantasy. This is the fantasy world. Robot. Meow, 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 meow. What's going on? Let me in. I said I've noted you've never seen Rover Sad. Is it Doro? There is no Doro, but I'm a robot now. Do I get like cannons? I want to get cannons. I like the sound effects. Brum, brum, brum. I have noted. Target locked. Kill Pink. Maybe, well, Pink probably hanged out with this Rover variant for a very long time. Back for more. Yeah, I'm back. Well, this one is. Well, I'm controlling it. I can tell you apart 1,000 times, but you never really die, do you? Fine. You're going to sit there and listen to me lose it. Alright. Okay. Alright, so they're actually... We're not finished with Amethyst's story. I figured that they were like, it's the ending! She's happy now! But we'll see. I'm happy that they're not finishing this off immediately. Unless this is just like a... Oh, was this past her? This might be past her, actually. Yeah, this is the past. You know. She was trying to kill Sigilium back then, too. Yeah, it does look like a Gundam. I found something interesting that you're extra drives. Ooh, she found something interesting. Also, her voice is very different now. Ooh, future self message. Well, which makes kind of sense because there's like weird void time shit going on. So we got time shit happening. Time shit happening! Years ago, while sailing the stars towards Soros, Extrator caught the attention. Okay, fair enough. Got caught. Both of them tore through the Strider Gate, clashing into the cavern skipper. Okay. Okay, I couldn't beat Alpha 1, fair enough. This is... Energy was depleted, the void matter kept pouring through the Spider Gate, Alpha 1 pushing desperate to squeeze his whole bulk through into this world. Okay, fair enough. It was almost successful and would have ended everything. It does look like Gundam. I did say that actually last stream. The girl named is the intro of the Theoden itself, the Great Saber, making drag into the final. Well, because there's all weird time shit, and because she can't be affected by the Void's fuckery, basically she's just ghost mattering into all of the various time points that's existed. So yeah, I can see how that would function. Exo touched its great... Extra watched her touch its great sword, the one pinning Theoden. The resonance sent a surge of power back into the resonance track. So basically she resonated it with it. This is the resonation that happened probably back when she got into like the simulator, and then like she came out and did this that probably reverberated through time, I guess, something like that. You know, I can accept this at this point because they have gone and talked about time stuff a lot. Entering the massive blade, forcing them back through the Strider Gate and driving a seal. Okay. But the girl who had resonated with... Oh, this was in the future. Didn't she say it was from the future? The message from the future? But no. This is the original, right? She was dragged through the Strider Gate, vanishing for low. No, because she was in the thing.
名式を封印したのは
She sealed the theater?
エイメスだったの。
Well, she didn't clearly disappear from Thing forever. But I guess if it's
最
time...
初は本当に驚いたわ。でもボイドスペースに入ってから
I guess you could say this. Basically, she's saying that due to the nature of void space, that's her ending. She'll die at that point, or at the very least be thrown out of Solaris, which isn't death really, it just means she gets to go to space. But that means that eventually that will happen due to the nature of it. So most likely they will defeat the Alf monstrosity, but she'll get thrown out. Unless, but then, are they talking about what will happen? She said this was a message from her future self. But this is the story of when the robot was heading to Solaris, so I'm a little confused. Oh, your wave's weathering? My brain is weathering. I'm a little confused.
した時空のブラックホールみたいな空間はあの時
The distorted black hole of a realm where time and space were warped, it appeared when the theater came to Solaris. Because yeah, it's I figured.
その中に落ちたものは違う時代のものであっても同時に存在できる。本来ありえないはずの時代
Yeah, I figured that's what's going on. Basically, like, she can appear in multiple locations in time, so that's why her ending final... That's why she can save the rover when the rover first comes into this place, because, you know, she does it later on.
そして私だけが唯一ボイドマタ
Yeah,
ーの影
makes
響を
sense.
一
Because
切
she's a
受けず
weird,
に進めるの
weird robot digital ghost thing, because it can't be, like, erased like all the other things.
どういう意味かわかるかな
Basically, it means you can go to space, because, like, if Thing Monster does get defeated, you could just go into space and, like, be like, whoa, I'm out there.
エイメス、一体何をしようと。
つまり私は過去に戻りアレフ1が現れた瞬間に行ける
Yeah, okay. But we've already done that. I thought the whole point we were trying to make is you already did that. You just failed. Well, no, you didn't fail, but it's almost like a guarantee. Unless that... Ooh, wait, we're dealing with time travel here. Are they gonna... Ooh, we're gonna fuck some shit up here. How are we gonna fuck this up? Like, this is a very thin knife.
縁をなす時間
Time and cause and effect. A perfect closed loop.
でも私と彼女の出会いは先に結果があって後から原因が訪れた
Time, cause, effect, perfect loop, closed loop. But my meeting with the detective all those years ago, that's the rover, that's me, wasn't a cause, it was the effect.
十数年前の私が敵隠者と
Only
して
by
エク
resonating
ソ
with the
スト
Rixo
ライ
and
ダー
dying
に
as a
共鳴し
synchronist all those years ago could I become the extratried
デ
as
ジタ
true
ルゴースト
resident,
になること
resonate as a
で
digital ghost.
エ
Okay.
クソストライダーの完全な共鳴者になれるこの特殊な
And the
状
only
態の
form
私
that
だ
I
け
could
が
cross void space,
ボイ
return
ド
to
ス
the
ペー
past
ス
and
を
power the
通り抜
extrated
けて
save
過去
the
に戻りエクソストライダーにエネルギーを送り込んでラハイロイを救える滅びを免れたラハイ
And
ロイ
only
の
because
彼女
Lahari's
に訪
eyes
れ
could detective ever come here, rescue my younger self, and let me grow up here
エ
to
ク
become
ソ
the
ストライ
chosen.
ダーの敵隠者にな
I
る
see. That's how it's a closed loop. The loop is closed via that. That doesn't necessarily mean she's going to die or anything. It just means that...
ダメ。すぐにシギルムを動かして止めないと。
What's she gonna do? She wants... Oh, because she wants to go back in time. Because now the final step is she needs to go back in time to the final moment of the void monstrosity to then, like, make sure that it can't win that first battle. Okay, I get you now. Now, here's the big thing, though. Not much of an issue. Not much of an issue. I'm just gonna throw it out there. So, yes, she knows when she's going to die. Or at the very least, she knows when she's going to get thrown out of the, into space, right? Not a big deal. She's a ghost. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. She's a spooky ghost. So, unless being cut off from the robot is death, that's another thing to consider. But we know that that's going to happen, right? She's going to go back into the time to start to, like, lock the monster outside. But she can't get affected by the digital ghost stuff, so she just gets to hang out in space for 10,000 years? But that doesn't actually necessarily matter, because she can just hang out inside the black hole and come out at any time she wants. And furthermore, Who's to say she has to do it now? She doesn't have to do it now. She could just, like, wait around a few hundred years, you know, when she feels like it. And she's like, all right, I've had my fun. I've lived my life. We're all enjoying life after Rover saved the world. I gotta go into the void space now, and I gotta fix it up so all of this happens correctly. Unless there's some pressing element that forces her to do this. But I don't see the pressing element. They gotta either give me a pressing element, or maybe it's just like I guess it could be just her attitude of like, I want to make sure it she survives. I want to get in there quickly. Not exactly. There's only one Amethyst. Well, yeah, I know there's only one Amethyst, but she can only. But the way that this works out is time. So basically, right now, she can go into the black hole, and she could appear back in time and make sure the robot survives, right? And save probably the pilot that is probably the rover. But she could always just do that whenever, because that's the nature of the void stuff. As long as the void monster exists, she could go into the void monster and just be at that time. There's no pressing time thing for her. She could spend 1 billion years on this side hanging out as a digital ghost that won't age and won't change. As long as there's no pressing time thing that would lead to her death in terms of like time and all that, there's nothing to stop her from just at the end of 1 billion years walking into the void, going back to the time point, and then stopping it if she's unsure about what the next step is after she gets thrown out into space. So the point I'm trying to make is it's not necessarily it's sad that she's like, oh, I'm gonna get thrown into space, but it is not a full-on thing, because as long as she closes the loop, it's fine. As long as the loop is eventually closed, it's fine. But this, I'm gonna say right now, if they fuck up something on this, this could be like this could destroy this really bad. If you're yeah, of course, if you're sealing someone, you're trapped within the truth. Yeah, of course. Well, you got to understand though, the Theoden would be sealed on the outside of the planet. It would be sealed on the other side of the gate, which can go through the Theoric Sea. So, yeah, it's on the other side. Sure, fine, not a problem. But there's also the other side of this. Fucking Amethyst isn't affected by the Theoden. The Theoden can't kill her. It can't affect her. So maybe there's some horrible shit out there that might hurt her, but she knows that if she gets sent to the other side, at the very least, the thing that she's being sealed out of Solaris with, not necessarily out of the whole universe, but out of Solaris, is something she could still fucking not be harmed by. Oh, he's inside underground? Oh, yeah, that's right. He's under the thing. Still not a big deal. Still not a big deal. I say this is still not a big deal because of this. Sealing it underground, it would seal her away, yes. But then again, same logic. She could still just jump into it at any point. Now, the only defining factor here is Rover's attempt to kill it. So Rover would eventually have to go through the gate and kill the Theoden. So we already know that's going to happen. So basically, as long as she jumps into the void cloud before Rover does that, at the very least there won't be two of her hanging out. Time-wise, I think, unless she's still in the void monster. Well, the point being, timey-wimey means that she doesn't necessarily have to spend that much time in there on the other side of the seal. She could... Oh, but wait a minute, no, because the seal happens so long ago that she'll need to spend at least 10,000 years in there. But because she's with the timey-wimey machine, that doesn't necessarily mean she'll experience 10,000 years. Because, like, sure, she goes back in time. She gets sealed into the thing with the monster, right? She's in the box. She's in the box with the monster. But the monster, being inside the monster, allows her to exist at any point she wants to in the monster's timeline. In other words, she just goes forward to the time point where it gets released by the rover. Done. Bang. So she all this is what would happen to her. I go back in time. I fight the monster. I get thrown into the box with the monster. Me and the monster in the box. I skip forward to the moment where Rover opens the box to fight it. Monster is defeated. I am released from box. I have solved the story. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But now that I have solved the story, let's see how they're going to explain why that is not a solved story. Or at least pretend that it shouldn't happen. Because this is dangerous. Playing with time in a story is a very fickle thing to do. And we know what these writers are like. Let's see. I can't turn away from my responsibility, just like this. Fair enough. But remember, you could just do this at any point, unless she just feels like she shouldn't hide away. I guess we have to accept that Amethyst doesn't want to hide away. Make out with... Oh, what? Oh, she disappeared. No! Tracking offline. Where is she? Activate miniguns. Take her down. Alright. Okay. Oh, I can move fast. Robot go! Robot go! I actually kind of like the point of view. If they had some intense music and I had fucking guns, I'd be like, am I playing fucking Armored Core right now? POV? Pew pew pew. Alright. But yes. Okay. I think we need to accept that Ameth basically is saying that even though time doesn't really matter too much, she wants to go ahead and jump into the thing immediately. I think we should... If the story wants to keep the time travel logic, she should succeed in escaping us. We should not succeed in saving her at this moment. We should succeed post-revealing of the monster at the end of the game. This patch. So basically, if that holds true, then this patch is good. If it doesn't, then we're revealing something terrible. That they don't give a fuck about time travel rules, which is probably what we should expect. If they've already given up on fate being a logic, time travel probably won't matter either to them. But let's see. Let's see. Let's go get her. Robot me version. Activate miniguns. Found her again. Enemy noticed. Alright. Wow, the flowers are very bright. Target located. Move forward. Capture. He has a gun. I guess there must be some level of consistency. For 10 years she tried the same. I tried the same thing for 10 years. Every time the driver self-diagnosed during peak void storm, I tried to reverse time. And every time I failed, I just wasn't sure. Okay, so she can't be... Okay, so they've added another element in here. While she can be at any point in the time thing to some degree, it looks like it's limited by power draw. Okay, so this does add another element to how they're approaching this. Oh, okay, you know what? This is okay, this is fair. There is an actual time press here. They've given me it now. Basically, I was gonna say she could just go into the void at any point, but if they're making out a point here that she requires a power level or a power point, or there's some level of time in terms of she can't go back that far immediately. Maybe there's some level of oh, it's too far back and that kind of shit. So it requires a power draw. That means, and she's she's experiencing time linearly, and into some degree, and there's some level of experiencing jumping around in time she can get, and the experiences of inside the void monster. But going back in time to affect that point in time requires too much power, and the thing is changing, so it won't be another chance. This actually does solve my whole problem of why doesn't she just hang out for the 1 billion years. So I probably should have just played the fucking game and seen this being solved. So I'm happy. I'm happy. They've actually solved my problem. They actually gave it an issue. And they've built it up to it. I kind of feel this was another layer of her trickery and shit, which is good. The real question is, though, will that time bullshittery affect her inside the box with the monster? I have to make the jump now during the peak season while the void space is taped. Okay. I'm not a child that needs protecting anymore. I have a duty to fulfill, where is my responsibility? Yeah, I'm gonna say it right now. Rover, you're a bad parent. Rover, I know a lot of people like, oh, you should always open your heart and be careful. No, Rover, opening your heart once to a little girl and showing that little girl vulnerability was a bad fucking move. You have poisoned her mind. Like, I was worried before. I was a little confused before, I must admit, when she was saying, like, in one of those flashbacks things, she was all like, Amethyst was all like, oh no, I would never. I can't, hold on, I can't be a savior. I don't want to die. I'm like, it's fine. You don't have to be. You just hang out and be a ghost. But with this knowledge, we can understand that in retrospect. You shouldn't have been a hero. Now wait, is this taking place in the past? I don't think it is. She wants to see Mom again. So what does she do? Is she gonna fuck up the time thing so she sees her again and then leaves? Oh my god, family time. She'd feel so alone. Okay, it was a good journey. It was a meaningful journey. She gonna mention the memories? Okay, she met people who care for her, who miss her, people who form connections with. Okay. Even knowing the truth about her homeland now, she won't be alone. She has a reason to keep living. Well, she had that before as well. Just want to point that out. The real element here is that she doesn't have that memory of her old homeland to, like, it doesn't matter how many good people she connects with here, because, like, we've got to make a clear thing here. Again, in the past Rover imagery, we never saw a Rover that was alone. We always saw a Rover that was strong, upright, loved by people, had friends, like Pavlova was someone she cared for. Various other characters clearly knew her or cared for her, like Shorekeeper. So she was never alone. They never, like, displayed Rover as alone. But I will say, lacking the memories of that time, of her homeland or wherever that fucking place is, does mean she doesn't give a fuck about it, which is the bigger element, I think. Oh my god, she's gonna go on a journey to be inside a box. I'm gonna get stabbed by my own daughter. Oh my god, you revealed your secret plan to me, Pink. Is Rover gonna try and stop her? It's a necessary element, though. Time is not something you can fuck around with. Ah, that being turned back on her is good. See, Wouldn't this be really good right now? You're the one who taught me that my pain is no different from anyone else's. I can't turn back my responsibility I have. So this is a perfect mirror if we had seen the Rover before be like this. If we had the Rover who was an isolated, hurt person who struggled, if we saw a Rover that did struggle in the past, or even in the current form, who would always put others before herself and struggle alone, and if we saw that person as in either a flashback or someone we were, this would fit much better. Unfortunately, we never did. But if we can imagine that, then this fits really well. Oh my god, she's doing her time magic bullshit. How dare you, young woman? You're not prepared to go out with some silly... I'm not letting you go out with this silly void theater monster. You can't go on a date with him. You're too young for that. Gosh darn it, I haven't even met his parents. And you're going to go live with him? You can just move in together? God. We are having a discussion over dinner, young miss. I'm not letting you go out with some random boy just because he has a nice motorcycle. That is actually pretty funny, actually, when you think about it. We can frame this in so many silly ways, as though I'm like her Asian mother upset that she's going off with a boy. How dare you? Stop it. You're not allowed to do that. And here I was hoping for just getting a kiss done when I fell asleep. This is my fault for... Now, here's the big question. Are we able to stop her? Or are they going to put some actual fucking effort in and make it so that... are they actually going to put some effort in and make it so that she fails? Because if failure is good here, failure is the ideal ending here. They're doing a pretty good job. Now she needs to fail. Rover needs to fail. You're going to get yourself killed if you do that. I know what you're going to do, but you need to fail. You must fail for this quest to really follow through. No. Fail. Rover, remember, what are you supposed to do? Like, okay, the time travel thing is, like, important here. I'm hoping Rover fails here. If Rover succeeds, I'm going to be very fucking upset. Rover must fail this. If Rover succeeds and manages to save her, I'm going to call bullshit. She needs to fail here and then be like, I need to get my daughter from the fucking the locked gate, and then the whole story then becomes an actual... We have a reason to fight the monster beyond monster evil because we want to break through the thing to find out what our goddamn daughter looks like on the other side after X amount of years. It could potentially be 10,000 years that Amos was in there for, which would be really cool. Oh wait, I have to go over there. Why? What the fuck, bro? I was already jumping in. I didn't like that. The game should have immediately let me jump into the water at any point. Fuck you, game. 0 out of 10. Too much water. IGN, yeah, 3 out of 5. You fool! Stay away from the void thing. You're gonna lose your... You're gonna kill yourself for this? Yeah, can't fuck it with you. Yeah, these are all type of things that she's said to others, which could be much better, but still pretty good. She'll say something like, just come get me from the box. Come get me. No, because she'll just go through the gate and fight the monster. Let her lose. Please lose. You have to lose here, Amos. Oh yeah, that thing. She's getting like fucking frequency cancer. You have to fail. No, Wuthering Waves, don't let her do it. Fail. This is the important element. She has to fail to create stakes going forward. Oh, that's the other version of her. When she went into the Void Manor as a thing. Closing the loop. That's pretty good. Oh, and then she saw that thing. When she saved her back at that opening part. Back when I was like, who the fuck are you? Pink, what the fuck? Oh, and now... And... Well, yeah, there we go. Loop's closed. Failure? I think we confirm failure. How are they gonna just... How are they gonna, account for something else? Let's see. We'll see. They could still ruin this. Wait, am I controlling her now? I thought she said she was immune to this. I can't control her, so... Wait, can I control her? Nah, it's just kind of like... Well, yeah, she's going through time and shit. Failure. You need to fail. Well, I have to fail. She needs to succeed in her job. Okay, now you should... Ooh, I want to see the robot fight. I want to see the robot fight that's like 10,000 years ago. That would be looking cool. I want to see if it looks really cool. Come on, show me 10,000 years ago. I want to see a cool fight in the, like, of fucking giant monsters and a giant goddamn Gundam. I wish to see. I wish to see. Come on, show me something cool. You always... Oh, okay, they're gonna do it like this. No, I was hoping for something else, but we'll see. Oh, it's animated. They're going for animation. Nice! Whenever they do this in a lot of gacha games, it looks really cool. Like Glamour fucking Cavalry from some of the other ones. Monster's like, fuck off, Pink! This is mine! She's like, no, I'll save you, and get locked in there with the monster. Damn. She's very hot in animated form. That's true. Family can't stay together. Neat. Neat. Look at all this suffering, guys. Even if the monster itself is more like a concept, it's way better than the other one. Ideal. Don't do it. Don't get saved. She has to be sent to the other side. As long as she's sent to the other side, everything works. Don't do it, game. They've like had her save people suddenly from before. Who do you want me to be when I grow up? Teacher. Scientist. Singer. Nah, you can do whatever you want, kid.
それともモデル
Soldier. Is anyone going to be a soldier? That'd be cool.
パティシ
I want to see with a gun.
エそうだ動物観察員
What
は
about an assassin for a corporate entity? I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm sorry.
どんな私ならあなたの誇りになれるかな
No, you got to be clear as a parent in this case. Anything she do would make her
望
proud.
みは一つだけだよ。楽しく生きてほしい。
Well, she did live a pretty happy life.
そう
逆
Sort of.
にエイメスは私に何か望むの？
私はあなたが長い人生の中で悲しみも幸せも感じてくれたらいいかな
Is that like a joke about the fact that chapter 1 she had literally no emotions?
あなたと旅の最後を過ごせて本当によかったわ
Now, if we could see the rover crying, this might be some peak. Let's see. That's sort of sad and I have no... Yeah, one thing to be said about Wuthering Waves, even if you are totally out of context, the cutscenes and these emotional hype moments are usually directed to the nines.
エイメスは幼い頃、湖に落ちて誰かに水面まで押し上げられ
That's
た
when
時、
she lost her talisman.
お守りをなくしたと言ってた。
And now I have a talisman. Okay, alright.
彼女を助けたのは過去の私じゃなくて今の私だったのね。
So her past self kind of saved her, and then the other self kind of saved her, closing the loop. Excellent.
私がエイメスを救えなかったからラハイロイは滅ぶ運命を免れた。
Excellent. Now, Rover, I would have preferred to see you cry, but we'll see. But I guess they couldn't do that because, like, the man... Let's be honest, there's differences between how men and women show their sadness, and maybe they couldn't bring themselves to try and make both of them cry.
きっと方法があるはず。
No! Rover, give up! Or rather, not give up, but... No, please don't do this game. You could be ideal. The ideal is you save her, yes, but not now. At the end of this fucking patch. At the end of 3 point whatever is when we save her. That should be the ideal moment.
エイメスがストライダーゲートの向こう側に引きずり込まれたならゲートを通り抜けて連れ戻せばいい。
But that's silly and stupid.
誰かしらがエクソストライダーを
Open the pilot, open the gate, and deal with Theoden anyway.
名式
Yeah,
という災いを
yeah, okay, that's the plan. But maybe we shouldn't do it right away. Like,
それは私が
okay, fair. How about when she gets to the robot,
限りなく低いかもしれ
but
ない
like something's wrong and you have to fix the robot some? Because like we need to have more quests. That like let us stew in the desire to defeat the Theoden monster. That's what we need, right? We can't have her just immediately get saved. Because I know she's going to get saved. Let's be honest. But we can't have her immediately get saved. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Listen to me, Wuthering Waves. Just, I know, go back in time if the writers read this differently, but go back in time and fix it. If you do that. Come on. We'll see. Would I recommend this game? 10 out of 10. Would I recommend this game? Ooh, I know you guys might, but it's a long time to get to some of the good shit. Chapter 1 is a fucking slog, bro. Ooh, that's a hard one, really. Oh, where am I? I'm back in the city? Wait, I just left the snow place? Is she just gonna say I don't know who Ameth is? What's this? Oh my god, that'd be crazy.
お守りに触れてから走り去った。
It touched the talisman and ran away. Okay, well, I was just in the snow. Where am I now? And what's going on? I thought for a second there, it was going to say that I forgot.
シンクロリンク
Oh,
クリーチャー
no. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. The game lets you skip the X1 story. That's not a very good fucking way to say that exit one is so fucking bad though, but it sets up a lot of stuff you need to understand. Don't do it. Don't do it, game.
突然エラーが出て完全にロックされたんだって。今修理の人を探してるところ。
Oh, come on, no. No, no, no.
使用中って表示されてるぞ。まだ授業は始まったばかりだし。
You know what? It'd be interesting if the version of Ameth they find in there is the old version with no memories of her being the one she became in the spooky version land. Let them cook. I'm letting them cook, but you know how I am. You need time, effort. I don't like them introducing sacrifice and then immediately solving sacrifice. I hate that. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It just because it deals with the willingness and desire to have a happy ending constantly, regardless of circumstance. Maybe like a comatose version of Ameth, because it's got to be Ameth in there. There's no way there's not Ameth in there. A comatose version of her physical body. The old version of Amos? Yeah, there she is, but... blood splatters all over the walls. It would have been funnier. Okay, maybe not funny, but I would have enjoyed it. It's just a bunch of newspapers. It's a paper mache Ameth. Let's see. Comatose version? Nah, she's gonna wake up. Dead? Corpse? Ooh, if it's nah, look, she's waking up. It all worked out in the end. Ugh. She's not squeezing, but you know she's awake.
Hey, Miss.
Something wrong? Lost all her memories? Vegetative state? 10,000 years inside a fucking cockpit that broke her brain? Now that would be pretty baller. Let's see. They're gonna have to explain it. Come on, give me that suffering. Give me the satisfaction of knowing you're not immediately going to solve our problem. You can still do it. I walked away. It was what was it? A body? A funeral? Oh my god, that would be amazing if they went to a funeral. But she did open her eyes. The doctor. The roles are in, I would expect. This Ameth isn't exactly human, nor is she a reverberation. She's closer to an exoswarm with only a trace of her original frequency remaining. As your friend, I wouldn't suggest you think of her as the girl you knew. That would cause unnecessary pain. As for the extrastrata plan you asked about, we can go over the details in the infirmary when time comes. Stay strong, detective. She just left the recovery pod and headed back to the transport. If you want to see, that's where you'll find out. So they're going for it. She's not the same person. Empty shell of a girl who disappeared 10 years ago. You know, this kind of fits with what happened to the rover as well, which is... See, once again, interesting idea here. I was just going to let my go up here while I do it. I don't like that the music is the same. The music should not be like fucking the same overworld music. It should be sad music right now. But anyway, the interesting idea of she sacrifices herself, loses all her memories, and is left as a shell of a husk is an interesting one. Personally, I would have gone for something else. I personally would have gone for the idea of Ameth is on the other side of the gate. The rover desperately tries to go and activate it, only to find that it can't work. Then, like, along comes the doctor and puts a hand on her and says, we can work together, but there's still more we need to do if we're prepared to do that. If you go in now, you're just going to die. And if she's on that other side, you won't be able to save her. Something like that. I would have gone for something like that, personally. But going to making her a vegetable... Well, she's not a vegetable. She's a husk is interesting as well. Here's the big question, though. Are they immediately going to bring back all of her memories? Are we going to consider this the real version of her? Or is this a remnant? Because, like, I know she said it's a version, kind of like the robot version she had of us, the Signalium robot, which had a tiny bit of our frequency, then tried to become us. Which may be how they're going to plan on solving the Ameth's situation. Basically, like, she's a husk, but now we just, like, inject some fucking frequencies into her, and then she becomes the old one again. Like, that might be what they're gonna do, but if they are gonna do something similar, this is my hope. That when we reach the top of this escalator, we're gonna meet her. She's gonna be acting different. Fully acting different. She's gonna be wearing different clothes. She's gonna be, like, acting different clothes, doesn't know us, and the problem is not solved immediately. And potentially I'd prefer if she had no emotional response at all and she was like just like a robot almost. I would prefer that with literally nothing and just say like, and like the ending can be like Rover saying, I'll find a way type thing. But if we're unlucky, they'll just bring her back. Or they'll be like too clear. Because I'm not saying I want her to die and suffer, but we need time and reason to hate and process and desire to defeat the Theoden monster. Because right now we have a very good potential to do that. The real question is, will they follow through? So let's see. Let's see how Wuthering Waves does it. Really, seriously, this fucking stupid... Okay, they're getting rid of the silly music. Good. Okay, she's still wearing the same clothes, but it is what it is, I guess. Staring off into nothing. That's the little thing she had.
これは彼女の紙飛行機。欲しいなら持ってていいよ。
I would expected her not to be dressed in the same outfit, to be honest. But I guess if she's some sort of weird robotic exoswarm, she can't close her clothes.
あなたはエイメス本人じゃない。あのお守りによってかろうじてここに留まっている。
Ah,
かけらみたいなもの。
because she took the little talisman.
それでもあなたがここにいるなら彼女は生きてることになる。
Yeah, on the other side of the gate.
完全に存在が消滅してたら太陽の精霊でもつなぎ合わせることが
I fucking hate those soul skin guys, but whatever, I'll accept that. I would have preferred her in a hospital bed. Right, and like she looks like she barely has any conscious thought. So why has she not got like someone who's like guiding her? Like I would have done a few things differently with the scene, but it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know, because like if she's a copy, but I guess it wasn't nothing. If I hadn't gone looking for death, I never would have found the talisman.
あの時私がエイメスを探しに行かなかったらお守りさえ手に入らなかったかもしれない。あなたもこうして存在してなかった。リュークが言っていた。エイメスの一部としてあなたは彼女を世界につなぎ止めるための
Tie her to this world.
最後の意図かもしれない。
In the lore, she has robots following her and taking care of her. Oh, the other exoswarm. See, I would have preferred that her sitting here, some of those little like exoswarm robots just sitting nice nearby, just watching. Like I would have placed a handful of robots that were looking at her, and then like Rover would have looked over at them, and the robots would have just been looked back at her and just done nothing. Like, and then like there would have been a minor comment about it, and then as she leaves this point, the robots like take her hand and like lead her away, like taking like someone who just barely is conscious, that just knows how to walk or something.
その意図をたどれば
If I follow it, I can find
彼
out
女
what she
の
is.
居場所がわかるかもしれない。
Okay.
私を慰めるための
You
嘘
might only send that to comfort me.
真実
No one has ever seen what's beyond the starting gate.
判
It's
断
all
は
guesswork.
つかない。ゲートの向こうに行った者は誰もいないからね。あくまでも推測。エイメスはゲートの向こうに連れ去られた。
How long has it been since she was pulled into
歪
that
ん
gate?
だ時空でどれほどの時が。
Now, that's a fun element. See, that's a fun element that I was considering. time changes a person. Although that's not the reality that Wuthering Waves like to think, because the rover was the literally exact same personality for 10,000 years. But time does change a person. So if she's gone back in time, the rover robot fight thing happened 10,000 years ago. If we just assume linear time, and she didn't do any of the spooky weird jump around in time while inside the void monster, 10,000 years floating on the other side of the gate. Now, there's the moon. Presumably there's some stuff on there. There's probably some space stations, maybe. Maybe there's, like, I don't know, some other monsters and other creatures and civilizations out there. So there's stuff she could possibly be doing for 10,000 years. But I hope that when she gets introduced again, unless they fuck it up and they introduce her immediately, she's a whole different person. And when I say whole different person, I mean to the nines. I mean, I want Rover to break through the gate one day, get on the other side, and I want them... Okay, this is probably not going to happen at all because of the way they're setting this up. It's clearly that they'll bring Ameth back to her body or whatever. But I want her to get to the other side, and I want there to be an Ameth who is like... Her form is like completely changed. Like her body is like this weird crystalline thing that she uses to exist. She's made like this weird fucking mess of old tech and like weird over the top crystals, whatever. And she just lives inside this strange giant fucking floating space station of crystals of whatever she's made. And she's been there for 10,000 years, like the fucking emperor on the throne. And as you walk in, her eyes open and she looks at you, and like a bare flicker of like acknowledgement appears in them, like someone who's seen so much, experienced so much, looking down at you and simply like nods. Ooh, even better. What if she gets there and the version of her that's there is like different, like wholly different, like totally alien to the original Ameth, really, but still like feels connected and basically goes, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what's going to happen, and you're going to accept it. And what it is like we have like some sort of weird quest battle, but the ultimate result is she fucking gives back the memories and frequencies that she's been keeping, which is exactly the original Ameth, to put into the little like clone monster down here, the robot clone monster. And the one up there who spent 10,000 years just fucking kills herself at the end of it. She's just like, I couldn't hold on. I wasn't ready for what I had to do. And like just talk about the things that like don't show what she did, just imply that some stuff happened out there that were horrific and she just doesn't want to live anymore. But she knows she's holding on hope, not for her sake anymore, but for the rover who she knew would come for her. And she's like, but I can't live with it anymore. There's too much in me. And she gives up those memories and those frequencies to make a simulacrum of the version of her that went through the gate at the moment of going through the gate, puts it into the body down below, and just fucking offs herself. God, that's what I'd write. Why don't I get to write goddamn stories in Wuthering Waves? I think I'd make it great. Okay, no, I think I'd probably get death threats from a lot of people who are very upset with my ideas, but you know what it is. How much longer? But I don't think they're going to change her personality, or honestly, I like my idea. I don't think they'd do it. God, this is the second time I've seen the rover with a half voice that actually fucking feels like it's got emotion in it. What are they doing? Gonna send her to the Frostlands? She gonna sit in a little thing? No. She wouldn't die. It wouldn't be her dying. It would be the death of the version that we would met outside. So she'd come back, and there would be this horrific melancholy that someone who spent 10,000 years beyond our reach, who cared and loved for us, either kill themselves or sacrifice themselves to ensure that the version or part of them that can still live returns. It would be really, really nice, and it also would avoid the whole, like, people just offing themselves and deleting the game when a rollable character dies. Rollable characters need to die. I think that that's something that a lot of people don't really gather. You need to kill off a character to set stakes, and I fully support rollable character death. I honestly do.
彼女が守った世界はこんなにも静かで美しく
Are they gonna put her on the train? Look at her, she's so robotic. Just like you, Robo. Yeah, she has the emotion. Rover, you finally met someone with less emotional expression than you. God, I wish they actually had the ability to like make Rover cry. Honestly, they really do need to have that ability. They need to give her more emotion. ゲートの向こうから待ってて Okay, come on, end quest, end quest, end quest. No, no. Don't do it. Don't have a, like, some... Yeah, I mean, you can have a twitch, whatever, but... Yeah, I'll leave it at that. No, what you doing? Don't make her come back. Don't do it. This is good. Well, this could be just like a minor thing. Make her eyes dead. You know what? They should have made her eyes dead. This is her on the other side. Like, weirdly linked. Nah. Not a big fan. Not a big fan of that connection. I prefer to not know. Because that implies that... Because remember, she went back in time to do this. So that implies that the current Ameth is probably just the same sanity as she was when she left, which is sad. I would prefer insanity. 10,000 years is a long fucking time, guys. How many people can change in a year? What about 10,000 years alone in space? Even if I don't add in, like, that there's crazy shit going on out there, like, come on. Just stop giving her ambulatory action. Stop giving her, like, the function of a goddamn robot with very bad fucking Wi-Fi connection. Oh, it's the teacher who's had big titties. It's a teacher that I don't care about because she doesn't have big titties. Oh my god, Chisa, hell yeah. My beloved. That other girl who I didn't get to know too much, but was very cute. Oh, teacher. Morning. Oh my god, it's the sexy robot girl. And man who acts like he's evil occasionally. I'd still fuck the robot, by the way. Oh, there we go, it's Nene. I'm guessing I should have met more of the Pigtails girl a bit, but like, because she's maybe side quest focused or something, or event focused. They did that a bit in chapter 1, where there was entire characters I never fucking met. Or barely interacted with. Alright, we finished the quest. Is she gone for us? Pardon me. Let's talk to the retard version. I'm sorry, vegetable version. She sits at silent face, expressionless mask. Following your gaze, taking more serious caress by the soft face. Students laugh as they have dreams, plans for the future. Professor quietly discusses findings and steady hum of thought and discovery. Everything on the side pulses with life, calm, familiar, heartbreakingly beautiful. Oh, I got more stuff from that? Neat. I guess. Not that I care. Alright, so... what have you guys been saying? People would delete the next chapter is about Luke, the guy who's trying to fuck the rover, only an hour and 30 minutes long. Oh, really? So it's a short one. Okay. My feelings on the quest now, because I did say I gave my feelings on the quest yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, it was alright. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Probably the best I've done so far. I still hold true to that. Okay, shut the fuck up, music. I'm getting annoyed. I want the music to go away. Go away, music. Go away. If I walk over here, will the music stop? Will the music stop if I go away? Go away. I want the music to go away. Music, stop! Stop, music! That's it. I'm gonna run out here and activate the fucking car. Wait, why can't I activate the car? God damn it, I don't like the music. Let's see some like land on one of these things. But, there we go. I could stand on this. No, I don't want the music to play. When I'm trying to think. Go to this. It'll probably turn the music off when I fast travel. Alright. So now that the music's out of the way, so I can actually think for a second. I think it was pretty good. And it's okay. Let me think. Considering it used the main quest around the rover, who I've all and long said and long believed that the rover is the worst part of Wuthering Waves. Who, her lack of personality, her lack of emotion, her simplified life kind of choices that are just all come down to, oh, I'm gonna be I'm mildly sad. Or my happiness is like fucking psychopathic flashes of happiness and anger and a mild changing of my face. Like, other than that, using that as a base is impressive that it did as well as it did. Now, I will say, of course, the rover was still the biggest issue. The rover's emotions and the fact that they didn't foreshadow anything was probably the biggest issue of the quest. I also don't like how right at the end of the quest, I know I was like saying like, please don't save her, please don't save her. And they did eventually, to their credit, not save her. But I really wasn't a fan of that final bit where they're just like, okay, let's give you an extra bit where like she says, don't be sad, and is clearly like connecting from the other side of the gate. Not a big fan. Not a big fan. Because I think the mystery of how she is on the other side would have been more interesting. Why can't I use the fucking... Why can't I use that? Why can't I use the fucking... Why can't I use the car function? The fuck? Where's my motorcycle? Where's my motorcycle? I don't understand. Whatever, man. That's fucking bullshit. But yeah, I think that I don't like that element of telling us about the connection on the other side. I think it would have been more impactful if we just had the vegetable version of her, or even like the vegetable version of her, or like a different, or something like that. Maybe if they changed up her clothes, maybe if they had some of those exo robot monsters with her. Could you imagine how fun it would be if we saw her walking around the place occasionally, like led by these little robots? You're trying to fly, press tab and switch. Oh, really? Oh, where's the bike? There it is. Hell yeah. Brum. 8 songs obtained. Damn. So, we'll fucking auto drive me around. So yeah, it's a pretty good quest. I just think that the reveal that she's still basically perfectly fine on the other side of the gate after presumably 10,000 years is a little much. Because remember, she's been over there for 10,000 years. At the least, probably 10,000 years. Or, okay, maybe a little lower, maybe it'd be like 5,000. I don't know, maybe there's some variation there going on. But there's so much time she'd spend off there. Yeah, I'd be off my god. Alright, that's why I would prefer the story deal with her on the other side. Okay, there's only 2 ways that I would accept that she's exactly the same. 2 fucking ways. 1, she's been in stasis all this time. she's no one said she's perfectly fine, but she kind of is. You gotta understand, Venix, because she talked to us and she said don't be sad, and she like reaches out and grabs for us, and she shows herself sitting in that ball in that same outfit. Like I said, if she, like I said, 10,000 years, she's probably going to be a little upset. Like, the way I'm looking at it right now, she's going to show up again. She'll be a little tired, a little sad, but she'll just quickly become the same girl she was before. That's my expectation for the end of the patch at this point, which is, it's not good. And while I'll accept it when it comes and still think the quest is pretty good, I would call it not as good as it could be. If they get there and the only way this is how I would accept it from a logical standpoint. She was in some sort of stasis, or she was using a time lock or whatever, so that time didn't really experience for her. That'd be okay, I guess. Not fun and not excitable, but you get what you get. But the other side of it is, if I got, it would be so much more interesting if she had not said anything, because then we could like introduce elements. Like, for example, think of this. Like, I'm being crazy here. Like, these are crazy out there ideas. What if a later quest involves us with another, like, as we're trying to do stuff for the extra strider, maybe 2 or 3 quests down the line, in this patch, we come across another character who's acting like another rollable girl, who's like weird, like almost like a villain character, who's like acts like esoteric and wild, like her mind's not all there and shit. And then we have the reveal later, that's Ameth. Right? So, like, Ameth, like, later on in existence, like, she's suffered so greatly from 10,000 years of doing, not necessarily isolation, but perhaps she's on her own over there, like, experiencing things. Maybe there's a whole different world out there she's experiencing, for example. And she's going through all of this, right? And changed her so much that she becomes a separate character, and then we only realize it's her after a certain point. Like, that'd be a crazy twist. Wouldn't that be fun? And then you could even, if you really wanted to, like, okay, like, lore-wise, that'd be sad, and some people would be a bit sad. You could still do what I said before, because they keep talking about memories in this game. Frequencies, memories, and all that. You could easily have the memories of the old Ameth come back, but, like, this new Ameth exists as well. So we have both. She isn't a human, if you think about it. She's more like a ghost. I don't put stock in that for her mental, though. If she was a real robot, and, like, they really did talk about her being, like, a robot, and, like, you know, not really thinking like a human, then I'd be like, oh, yeah, sure. But no, Ameth has been very clearly shown to think like a human, to suffer like a human, you know, cry, sad, happiness, struggle, all of that. So 10,000 years of a human alone in a dark room would break someone. 10,000 years of a person away from their home world, doing other things, adventuring, or like suffering or fighting or doing whatever that she's doing on the other side of the gate, that shit should change a person. And that's one of the things I really, really hoped that they would do. Now, I don't think they will, because after seeing that little bit at the end there with her floating in space and sending through bad Wi-Fi connection of I love you, don't be sad, I feel like she's just going to be the same character. But I personally would have made her character totally different. Maybe not as depressing as my first idea of like a Crystal Queen monstrosity, but she would be a different person. Someone who changed from 10,000 years. Because if you don't think about it, how old is she? Let's say she was around 16 when she got murdered by the machine. Spent another 10 years being a spooky ghost. So probably around about like 26, 27, something like that. So she was 27 when she met us. Then we add in 10,000 years. You see what I mean? And I know the game is going to act like her time with the rover is the most important, and yes, it should. But 10,000 years changes a person, even if Rover refuses to change her outfit. So that's my position. I'm hopeful that the game acknowledges the time scales and the effect of time is going to have on the story. Yeah, literally. The Emperor changed after sitting on the throne for 10,000 years. Like, for example, when Gilliman met the Emperor in 40k in the later parts, he talks about his conversation with the Emperor when he goes to the Golden Throne. And he talks like it, and he describes it as talking to a star. It's not like he's having a conversation with his dad. His dad's changed after 10,000 years on a throne, like, with his brain fractured across space and time or whatever the fuck. Like, the point I'm trying to make is, people change, and if Wuthering Waves gets to the end of this patch, because I really do hope that they leave the end of the full April Ultimate patch to reveal getting back with Ameth, because this is way better than the Carthia approach. Holy shit, Carthia has nothing on this. When they get back, you know, fucking lowly milk transformer girl has nothing on this. But if they put this at the end, and if she's just the same girl as she was when she left, it would be very disappointing, but I'd still say it was a pretty good story. Just on the fact that they had the goal to wait and let us build up something to want to defeat. Because now I want to defeat the Theoden. I want to get the robot online. Before it was just like, I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it, you know? But now we're in a situation where I want to defeat the Theoden. I want to go through the gate because I want to get her back. And even if she's just the same old girl, and when we see her and she smiles, she's just like, hello, I'm back. It's still going to be like, yeah, I got her back. But I really would have preferred my idea. I would prefer, honestly, 2 Ameths. I would prefer an Ameth who is like a copy of her original thoughts and feelings that came in, like the original frequencies put into that body, and the older Ameth who is like an existence akin to almost the Rover, a ancient being that has existed for so long. Instead of when the Rover comes back to save her, instead of the Rover, like, you know, jumping and saving her, it's her, like, you know, like softly saying, like, don't worry, I know what to do. Like, she's the adult now in the situation. She's looking after the Rover. A lot of other things about the story I did like as well, despite the fact that they are muddled with the Rover's quite poorly written past and poorly emotionally designed past. For example, the kind of a little bit cracked because of that era's mirroring of the Rover, what they tried to do as Rover is, she loves her family and her home back in the thing, but she's prepared to fight for other people. She puts herself on the line for other people. Her joy, as she said, is others. Her sadness is others. She doesn't give anything of herself, and she's prepared, but even though she suffers, she puts it all in for others. And then the mirror to that is, and then he even lost her memories, probably specifically to help out with this. Then we have the mirror to that of Ameth, who goes through the same thing and sacrifices her entire existence because she also wants to be that savior, even though she also had those same struggles as we saw in some of the flashbacks, even though at the time I was not sure what she meant by not wanting to be a savior and wanting to live and stuff. But now it makes sense because she was considering the reality of she'd have to sacrifice herself. So I really like those things and how those themes came together. There was some minor elements about Rover, obviously, but generally speaking, I have to say it now, I like Chisa. I love Chisa's quest, but Ameth's quest does take the cake here. In terms of a narrative and a story, I still think that I really like Chisa, and Chisa as a character will never be diminished in a lot of ways. I think like I much like the kind of cute Chisa who just needed some help locked in that thing. I really liked her. Ameth, though, I also really like her here. Obviously, that her story's not done, but we'll have to see. But this is certainly the best that Wuthering Waves has put out, and I say that as someone who fucking hates Wuthering Waves. Because is it worth it to get to this point? No. This is an amazing, good quest with great characters utilized in pretty good ways. But as a story, as a game, getting through chapter 1, going through patch 2, or chapter 1, chapter 2, or patch 1, patch 2, it's not worth it. That is hundreds and hundreds of hours of playing a game with characters no one cared about, just to reach the point where they finally gave some level of shit, or put in some level of effort. And I honestly don't think it's worth it. I do not believe playing Wuthering Waves to get to this, as it stands right now, is worth it. To get to a point where I'd say it would be worth it, would be a hard sell. And I say that, I have to admit, you could have like even with perfect questing for a whole bunch of other elements. Like every little thing in this quest could have been ideally done outside of the difficulties of like changing up Rover's problems. Like Rover could have cried, the emotions Rover felt could have gone much harder, the minor things could have fit, like little extra visual elements could have been added in that I liked, and I'd still say, at my current feelings, having not reached the end of the quest for one thing, because we still got to get to the end of the patch 3.0, well 3 point whatever, could get to the end of this patch, major patch I mean, then I still think it's not worth it to play it if you were a gamer who wanted to play a gacha game. There are better gacha games. If you were lore focused and story focused. If you're game focused, it's fine. If you're like mostly game focused, 100% fine. But if you are mostly story and lore focused, I would definitely say that Wuthering Waves is not the game for you. I still stand by that, even though, like, I just gushed about how much I like this quest. It doesn't change what already came from before. Chapter 1 is a hot mess of rewrites, course corrections, and characters that feel as though they were written in a 5-minute situation and their entire lives and backstories could be summarized in 3 words. I don't think I've seen combat like this. Wuthering Waves' combat is quite common amongst this kind of open world JRPG thing. Open world JRPG combat is actually quite similar across the board. Genshin Impact really codified how a lot of games would do it with the element systems and things like that, but definitely Wuthering Waves is just an improved version of that. The overworld is very nice and all that. I like the overworld. I like all the combat. I like all the gameplay. But the truth is it's like it's not enough for me. But it is a combat that is a similar kind of edge to some of these kinds of games you'll find, like your Towers of Fantasies, your NTEs. And to a degree, some of the other ones that do have twists. Of course, they have twists on their combat, like in Endfield, where the kind of open world battling is almost like hold down button, do nothing. But various things really follow the same kind of dog soup breakfast of elements getting thrown in together and just kind of making whatever happens about it. But I will say that Wuthering Waves does feel like it has the higher depth and the higher enjoyment than all of the ones I've played in the past. And I have played a few, and I've given a lot of them a chance. So yeah, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for chilling. I will be back, not tomorrow, but next week. I'll be back next week on my Tuesday, your Monday, potentially, to play some more. We will continue our Wuthering Waves adventure, and hopefully by next week we might actually be able to get up to date. I feel like I do have enough feelings now to make clear my thoughts on the quest. I think I don't want to talk too much about Ameth's quest in the video, though. I feel like that would be a difficult thing to do. I do need to change some of my opinions, though. For example, I have one part of the script where I talked at length about the game not having consequences or not allowing consequences to lay down, which at this point in time does become a lie, because Ameth's quest exists. Although certainly prior to this patch, to 3.0 specifically, it definitely never let anything go. It was always like heroes win the day type stuff. And I do want to complain about that, but at the same time it feels a little bit on the nose to complain about it when I have this where they did actually put in the effort and have allowed officially a problem to persist rather than being solved within 10 minutes. So thank you for hanging out. Thank you for chilling. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace. Oh, and make sure you share the videos and streams with your other Wuthering Waves fans, because I gotta get the more Wuthering Waves fans for when I release the video, so more people can yell at me. All right, see you later.